call for other sport. That's usually what I'm calling you for.
Oh, I don't have cool Christmas socks.
We got to go grippers up. At least put one foot up. You don't have to take your socks off or shoes
Don't
off.
tell me what I do or don't.
I said you don't have to.
Don't tell me what I do or don't have.
Oh, well,
I feel like in solidarity with John Mclane, we should all do it without.
I feel like that's true. Yes, absolutely solidarity.
No, I wore Christmas socks.
Oh,
Okay, there you
I
go.
didn't wear my Christmas socks.
Oh, now the shoes are staying off right now.
You were going to talk about. You were going to tell us a little story about one of our good friends at a wedding.
Gripping.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Don't say his name, but one of our
we're
good
recording
friends.
now. So
I'm horrible at that.
I mean, it's not necessarily a story. It's just the last thing that he did that stuck out to me. And I hadn't seen him in forever, and I loved. It's just like one of those. I have spent a combined maybe 10 hours of my entire life like with this guy. Like maybe when we were younger, we spent some time together. But I don't know, the past 15 years maybe. Actually, not at all. When we went to the wedding, that was when
it. It was a wedding.
That was it. But I was
That was
like,
the only reason I got married is so I could get a bunch of my friends.
bro.
Have a huge party at the top of the rock on the hotel.
Just when
gosh.
when I see that guy, I'm like, dude, I love this guy. I love this guy.
yeah, he's awesome.
So anyway, we like say our goodbyes. We did like a long walk afterwards. Whatever. Everybody said their goodbyes and
From
stuff.
like jelly rolls and stuff. Yeah.
I guess. And then he left. Right. There's like some sliding glass doors that are automatic, like Obi-Wan kind of doors.
Yeah.
So he's out, and whatever, we're talking and stuff. And it was something like those doors were closing, but like they were closing like for good. It's not like they were automatic. Like it was like
This is it.
like this is it.
It's the end of the night.
They're locking us out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like talking and stuff, and we're like on the other side of like a clear glass. He's like he's pretty far away, but we see that he's outside and stuff. And then we see the door start closing, and like we're talking in a group, and like everybody looks like, oh shit, like he's gonna get like locked out, And so he starts like speed walking, still talking to whoever he's talking to, and then like barely makes it through. Like he makes it without even touching it, but like barely, like perfectly timed.
Yeah.
And then keeps walking. Right, we're over here, and he walks like perpendicular to us to wherever he was going to with a purpose. And he looks at us dead straight in the eye while walking this way. And he tells the group, dead serious, he goes, I just Indiana Jones that shit. And just kept going. And I was like, that's him. That's the man.
Quintessential.
Perfectly see his face doing that. Like,
Oh my God.
so proud of himself. Like,
Same guy when our pastor called me the wrong name. I see him out of the corner of my eye. I go, who the fuck is that?
Who the hell is Troy?
Who's Troy?
Dude, I was the hardest thing in the world. I'm standing up there is in like the best man position.
Yeah, you're
And
it.
he says, here we are with Bridget and Troy. And I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, don't laugh. I'm up here on the stage. Don't laugh. And
Right.
I look down and my father is like, Troy? And I'm like, nope, not there. And I look straight to the back, like, we're good. I'm just going to look over everybody.
Yeah.
Right at this guy.
Yes,
and he's
eye
like,
contact.
who the hell is Troy? And I'm like, oh no. This has gone from bad to worse. Exactly right. Exactly
I
right.
can see his face every single time with all those stories, dude. That's just one of the best.
Tony has
stories.
my favorite story of my wedding, though.
Which one?
Which one?
Because you walked into my rehearsal dinner and you were like, my wife's cousin's husband wore a cowboy hat
Oh, geez.
to our rehearsal dinner. And Tony walks in, he's like, super happy to be here. Love that you guys invited me, but I'm still a cop. Is that guy going to be a problem? And my wife was like, I hope not.
Is cowboy hats like a bad sign? Is
No,
that like,
it
oh
was-
no?
it
It was more than
that.
just a
You had to
cowboy
see
hat.
him.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like rude
But
too.
basically,
Yeah.
it was like how he told me. He was like, good, because I clocked that guy coming off the elevator. like, I'm here for you.
Picking him up, just being like, all right, what's he got laying down? No.
When the guy we were talking about, I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't put you like in the groomsmen party. I'm so sorry. He's like, trust me, you did me a favor.
All I noticed was that guy looked a lot like you, actually. And
He
so the
did.
whole time I was like, it's Cowboy Tony. It's
He
like
did.
every state has a Tony. This is Cowboy
I feel
Tony.
like if Tony did a lot of drugs.
But our state has Tony.
Our state has the Tony. It's
The Tony.
The Tony. Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgialand.
Yes.
Tony, thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, sir.
This will be released
It's been
on the
about
25th.
10 months since Tones McGowan's joined us for the last time.
It's been almost 10 months to the day.
Almost to the day. I know, it's funny that I can go off when somebody was born.
That's right. Holy crap.
That was so funny how we were supposed to have our first 4-man episode.
Right.
And I got the text that afternoon. I'm not going to be able to make it. My wife's going to have a baby. And I'm like, yeah, cool, dude. We'll see you later.
I expected to get that torn response. Like, that's awesome, but if you could be here, that'd be better.
I wasn't upset.
She's not going to have the baby for a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be at least 3-4 in the morning.
I was just really disappointed in your daughter for choosing to ruin our night, like our first 4.
That was her first.
And she couldn't even join on our birthday. She was like, "Oh wait, by the way, I'm going to be born at 4:00 the next day, so nobody cares about your birthday forever."
It's really weird because my wife has 2 cousins that are born on the 19th as well, and they're twins. So she was like,
I hope.
"Oh yeah." She was like, "Well, they could be years apart."
Yes, they could.
11:59, 12.
Well, no, but she was like, "No offense to your brother, but like, I want her to have her own birthday." That was like it, I guess.
Yeah, now none of us have our own birthday.
Yeah, double party at Flanagan's. Where else are we doing it? I mean, Tanner's house.
I was gonna say with my brother who looks like Joe.
I'm so glad he admitted it. Well, I mean, he'd always admitted it, but he sent a little picture
that he got in on the joke.
Yeah,
he joined it.
I love that he came in. To be a part
Tony's
of
like,
it.
what?
So.
I'm just thinking about rib rolls right now.
Yeah,
Ooh, the rockin' guy.
Tanner looks a bit like the logo. From Flanagan's. So that's
yeah.
You know,
okay.
it's
Make sure you're on that. Okay, yeah.
It's spot on.
Spot on. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back. Merry
I gotta
Christmas.
say thank you to Matthew.
Oh, mine's over there.
No, that's
Oh yeah, dude.
Ken.
For those who are watching,
Merry Christmas.
He got us lovely
Merry
t-shirts.
Christmas.
He got Trey one too, but
It's Spider-Man in a Santa hat.
Yeah,
it's dope.
But I had to wear
clean
this
logo.
because
This, by the way, is my favorite Christmas movie.
yes, it is.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
we might be doing my favorite Christmas.
This is on up there.
It's up there.
Yeah, and no one can deny the Wolfpack.
What does it say?
Happy. I almost said Halloween, but
It's holiday.
Holiday. That is a fantastic shirt.
Dude,
this is Galco.
Calco?
Yeah.
Galco.
What's the pup's name? The pup is unnamed.
Can't put the name on the innocence of that face.
Of that face. Immediately when I was like, I gotta get some shirts, something to thank you guys for an awesome year, another year down, doing our Nostalgialand holidays. But the minute I saw that wolf shirt, I was like, oh, there's only one person I know who can wear this, and it's not going to look stupid or ironic. Like,
I think of Tony whenever I see
it just looks awesome on
It's
you.
an honor. It's an honor.
I think of Tony whenever I see the Mandalorian symbol. Like most people think of Boba Fett, I'm like, Tony.
Tony's here.
For the record, I had this puppy before the Mandalorian came out, and then now, dude, people used to ask me all the time, "What is that? Like an elephant bones? Like what is that?" I'm like, "Whatever you want, you know."
Whatever you want, roll with it.
Now everybody knows, so it's just kind of cool.
Yeah, but now everyone's like, "Oh, you poser!" Like,
Exactly.
oh,
They're like,
what's up, baby
Like,
Groot?
oh man, what's up, baby Groot?
Was it Grogu?
Yeah,
I said
Groot.
Groot. I knew that was wrong when I said it.
Grogu. Which one's Grogu? Oh, Grogu's the little. Yeah, you see.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Man,
You know, it's funny
all right.
that Baby Yoda was amazing, and then they revealed his name, and it was like, nah, you guys are wrong.
Yeah.
That's Baby Yoda.
Like no one calls him that at all. It's always like, nah, it's Baby Yoda.
And Kathleen Kennedy ruined the 3rd season.
Put a chicken.
Oh really? Damn.
Yeah,
I didn't know
because
that.
she put a chicken in it and made it gay. No, she.
Let's not focus about what's getting ruined. Let's stay positive here.
Well, no, we gotta
know
be
what got
honest
ruined?
You
about
have to
stuff,
acknowledge what.
and we gotta call
things
out
are.
Kathleen Kennedy for being a horrible piece of shit that has ruined one of the greatest movie franchises of all
You know-
time.
Was it her specifically?
Oh yeah,
You know,
Not Ryan Johnson?
we can talk about it.
no, Favreau does the Mandalorian.
I mean, there
No,
are people.
Mandalorian. I get.
There
but
are
I'm
people
talking
involved. There are people involved.
Okay.
But she's the head.
But the first problem was Episode 8, not the Mandalorian.
I know, but she's been the head of.
So head of the snake kind of deal. Everything falls on her, is what you're saying.
Doesn't
Yeah, it's
it?
all about her. Yeah.
Cut off one head.
I don't know.
I think it
More shall
does.
take its place.
So if there was an
Yeah, I
employee
don't-
underneath her,
Tony, pull your mic in a little bit when you get
Sorry.
there. Yeah, you're good.
if there was an employee underneath her that was like horrible, maybe she didn't know what was going on. You know, she can't be.
She doesn't like Luke Skywalker.
What?
Be
She's-
careful with
she's
these
tr-
blanket statements, okay?
I'm not.
I don't even know her. I just feel like
Kathleen
defending her
Kennedy
right
is
now.
the head of Lucas film.
These are
I know.
dangerous times, man.
Isn't it called like?
These are dangerous times.
What's it called now? Like something light and sound.
Industrial Light and Magic.
Industrial Light and Magic.
But that's the name of it's Lucasfilm is like the whole.
ILM, yeah. And then there's Skinwalker Ranch, and then there's Walker Ranch, and then Skywalker Ranch.
What is Skinwalker Ranch?
Skinwalker Ranch is
I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
Is a
Does it sound like what I think it is?
Well,
no, it's not. It has nothing to do with penises.
or Silence of the Lambs,
That's not
unfortunately.
what I was thinking.
Oh well,
That's not where
I guess we're not on the
But it's
same page
clearly
here.
That's not what I was thinking. That's what you were thinking. About.
What bus did you come in on? Oh, no, I'm not on that bus. I'm on a different one. No,
You don't wanna know.
Skinwalker Ranch is like it's a Native American like mythical creature.
Oh, that's real.
We're getting real way
Oh,
off.
absolutely.
Anyways,
Wait. Hang on a second.
So stupid.
We may have to record a second episode where we just talk shit for a while.
yeah.
I'm
Well, I
down.
mean, like Merry Christmas. This is like, what else are you doing today? Nothing. Just hang out in your car if
right.
you're driving, or sit in front of the tube.
I get to know Tony. Let's just talk.
Yeah, let's just hang out.
I'm down. Wait, but go on
So-
with
The Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalkers are apparently this being that can imitate like other things, like people, babies, and stuff, and they lure people out into the woods and then they kill them and eat them. But
like a shapeshifter.
yeah, shapeshifter. And so the one is that there's an area called Skinwalker Ranch, and now there's this show on History Channel. And the one thing that pissed me off the most about it was this guy gets up there, and his normal name is like Greg, but he's introducing himself, and he's like, "I'm Greg, but people call me Dragon."
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course they
And
did.
I immediately just like I turned it off. I
Yeah.
was just like, asshole, no. Like it's like a really cool, like interesting like myth, and like the stuff around it. There's some really creepy videos.
The super interesting part
Yeah.
about Skinwalker Ranch is a guy, dude, I can't remember his name right now. Robert something bought the ranch and spent. He was like a billionaire or whatever. Spent a bunch of money actually researching the paranormal
On it.
like scientifically, trying to prove the existence of these phenomena. Because a lot of people saw this stuff, and apparently, when some family like bought the ranch, right when they moved there, like this giant wolf came up.
Yeah.
And they shot it with like a 30-06.
Oh man, jeez.
Like, yeah, it's paranormal.
Okay.
Do you want to give us?
Wait,
you want to
no.
give us a size comparison with 30-06? What kind of bullet size are we dealing with there?
I want to say it's about here.
Yeah, like
about
Jeez.
this
it's
side.
taken.
But what I'm thinking of is you're talking about shape shifters, and you're talking about wolves.
Yeah.
You guys ever seen the movie The Thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Somewhere along those lines.
You should look at if you're
Is that just
interested
a
in like
coincidence?
maybe.
You know what I mean? You're talking about shapeshifters
are
and
there-
wolves, like
Are there any coidraces?
You ever seen X-Men?
no.
I mean, happy holidays.
Yeah.
the holidays.
Am I a shapeshifter?
Dragon.
Okay,
You
so
have to call me Nighthawk.
yeah.
so Skinwalker Ranch has nothing to do with Skywalker.
No.
So why did you say all that?
He said the
Somebody
I
said,
said
all,
the wrong Skinwalker, and then I said, no, wait, Skywalker. And then I was like,
I
no,
thought
it's
he just
Skywalker
misspoke.
Ranch.
I didn't think it was a real thing.
I did misspoke, and that is a real thing. Yeah.
it's called the tangent.
Watch-
we do it
We're
often.
just
Watch the
bouncing.
History Channel.
Let's bring it back.
sometime.
We're
Yeah.
bringing it back.
We're bringing it back
because
So-
we're doing one of my favorites.
Okay,
today.
let's do it. What do you got?
Okay. All right.
Just hold on to your feet. Because today we're doing Die Hard, baby.
Hell yeah, baby.
Oh man, Die Hard.
Merry
dude.
Christmas to everybody
Certain
out there.
shoes not required for this party at Nakatomi.
Although, speaking of shirts, did you know that the wife beater that he wears, I mean, for lack of a better word, the tank top, there we go. Let's just
What
call
do
it
we
tank
call
top.
a wife beater?
I don't know why we always called it that, but that was what
That's
what
like
we
a
called it.
colloquial
Piece of
name for
shit.
that.
Yeah.
I am a horrible person.
Piece of shit.
like how bad, like how
But that's
many
like a
people have to
colloquial
wear
name for
that
Like, that's
When
like-
they're beating their
and
wives.
beat their wives to be like, oh, he's wearing a wife beater shirt. That's a wife beater. It's that you can slide that box back. He's
Oh,
saying.
okay. Cool.
You can
I didn't
push it.
want to put that on there.
Just shove it.
Doesn't matter. It's on
all right.
camera. They can see it.
It's all right.
Yeah.
All
If
right.
they can't, well, there's a box over there that Tony just slid back.
You have to like.
No, but the shirt he wears during the whole movie, they used a bunch of different ones, and they slowly like darken the color as he's going through everything. But the one that he had, I think, that was like the only one left. They gave him as like a souvenir.
Brown.
He ended up giving to the Smithsonian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's in like the National Archive.
It gets darker and darker, but at one point it gets like almost black, right?
Yeah,
It's like brown at one
well,
point.
because he gets like kind of blown up.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like covered in grape jelly at the end, dude. Like whatever they're putting on this movie.
He is bleeding from everywhere.
You're
We
right.
need to have like.
Well, it's so bad that when his wife finally sees him again, she goes, "Oh God."
That's right. She's like,
He's in.
Jesus.
It's like his silhouette with the light behind him, and he's so bloody and stuff that he's glistening.
Yeah, she's being held at
Yeah.
gunpoint.
Yeah.
But she's looking at him and goes, "Oh God."
Exactly.
He's like, he is going to shower
His wife's
before he sleeps at our house.
His
There's
wife's
no
a badass
way.
in this movie.
Oh, she's great. So John McClane. This starts the John McClane, like the what do we call it? The
Series?
series. Yes, 5 movies of dying hard.
The Die Hard saga.
and
Die harder. This guy's not dead
not
yet.
dying hard enough. Yeah, there's a lot of dying that doesn't hard. You're enough dead.
Yeah, right.
Give that a twisties. It's okay.
Gets locked. Give that a twisties.
Yeah, give it.
So
get
we
it.
start on the
Get it.
airplane.
There we go.
Anyway,
And you kind of learn that he's not like Superman because this
Yeah.
plane is
Awesome.
landing and he is white knuckling.
Yeah, he
the
is
side of this plane,
gripped out
about
on
to
this.
snap the armrest off the airplane.
Yeah, I like how
seat.
they did that. It shows like from the very beginning that he's flawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a superhero.
Yeah.
And this like random goober dude next to him's like, "Don't like airplanes?
Hey, bud.
Make fists with your toes when you get to your hotel room after you take your
It
shoes
also
off."
shows that edibles weren't easily
Available.
Nearly easily available.
Now, I don't understand. Does anybody understand the fist with your toes thing?
I
I feel
looked
like
it
it's
up.
like a sensory
You look it
thing
up?
to
I
ground
looked it-
yourself. Yeah. What do you do? What is it?
Well, the weird thing is that the guy says, "Oh, well, if you're stressed out from a flight or something, when you land and you get home, take your shoes and your socks off and make your toes
Make fists with your
make a
toes.
fist with your toes." But
Yeah.
but you've already landed at that point, so that's what I
Yeah,
don't
like you're
understand.
good to go, right?
Yeah,
Like, I'd be good to go.
I
So
could
like-
understand if he said that, like, do it while you're on the plane or something. I
Some
guess.
people still
Yeah.
have
I see, I'm
anxiety.
with-
I
I'm
guess,
with
after
Tony.
they land.
I feel like maybe he's like
Okay,
the
that makes
uneasiness
sense.
about it. Like, yeah, he's anxious and he's still like trying to feel like grounded, like in like gripped to the floor. Because there is like I've seen that with grippers. They grip the
That's
floor.
where the grippers come.
Yes, because you're grabbing onto the earth.
Yes.
you're recentering
Making
yourself,
fists with
I
your
think.
toes, gripping that carpet. I'm doing it right now in case
Ooh.
anybody needed to know.
Oh, everyone needs to know that.
This carpet isn't shaggy enough for it though.
that'll be one of our upgrades to the studio next year.
Just a
new
random like
Long
shag
carpet.
shaggy
carpet.
carpet everywhere. Well, so this movie started, and I was like, and I've seen this movie always in clips. And somehow, whenever I turn it on, it's always when the helicopter is exploding, and then when I leave and I come back, it's always Hans Gruber falling out of the building.
spoilers.
Spoiler alerts. All right.
Hans Gruber. Memorial Base Jump. I had to go with the same shirt because I didn't realize we were going to do this movie.
Absolutely right.
I saw one that I thought about trying to order before we did this episode. It says the Nakatomi Plaza first annual Christmas party, and
Yeah.
it's literally like a MP5.
But when I saw this movie, like I remember for a long time, I always like made fun of like, oh yeah, Die Hard, and I was thinking like, what's our sequel? Die Harder, just chuckling to myself. I looked it
Dead
up.
yet?
No, that's actually it.
Yeah.
Die Hard 2.
Like, oh my
Die
god,
Harder.
no way! Just die harder. What? He should see a doctor if it lasts more than 4
Hey, man,
hours.
this movie, they
That's
get a
all I
bunch of
kept thinking
Russian
about.
guys to play
That's how you
guys.
die.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
hard.
that's how you die. You die hard.
harder.
because-
I lost all the blood flow.
yes, just cardiac arrest.
It's rigor mortis has set
yes.
in.
I think I had an aneurysm.
Rigor mortis has set in.
Oh, jeez.
Just paramedics is running all around you. Just wow.
So then we figure out that John's a cop because
Yeah.
he goes to reach up for the bear in the overhead compartment, and his gun is in his holster, like his under his shoulder holster. What is
Yeah.
that called, Tony?
That's just called a holster.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that exactly.
It's like an axillary holster. It's like in your armpit almost.
Yeah, that's like an old
Axillary.
school
Look at this guy.
detective.
Big ass
Man,
words.
Where's my dictionary?
So
And a side note, he says, and I've been doing this for 11 years.
well, because the guy's
like,
like, I've been flying for 8 years.
and he's like, yeah, I'm a cop. I've been doing this for 11 years. Which, fun fact, I've been doing that for 11 years.
Oh, shit.
Right on. Right
Do you
on.
get to carry your gun on the plane, or is that no? That's a big no-no.
He's
Not
not
a
You
weapon,
can.
is it?
Well,
if he told you, he'd have to kill you.
yeah,
I like leaving it there. That's fine.
we could leave it there. Yeah, leave it there.
Well, yeah, he's flying to.
He brings it just for the cavity search.
Yes, please.
Ooh.
He hides his badge in his ass.
Tell me, where did you find the bullets?
And then he meets
gone too
arguably
far.
my favorite character in this entire movie. He meets Argyle.
Dude,
Argyle's all right.
the fact that his name is Argyle is
Yes.
amazeballs.
Yes. Well, like I was like, how else are you going to remember this dude's name? Because he is actually really important. And he's like one of the smartest dudes in this whole movie.
He's super funny,
He's one
too.
of the
He's
most
the best
logical
guy.
people in this whole movie.
Yes, he is.
It's a genius way to do exposition
Yeah.
yes.
and give you backstory on John Mclane without him actually having to explain anything to you.
Right.
Because Argyle's a super nosy former cab driver who's doing his first trip as a limo driver.
Yeah.
And he's like,
And-
people normally sit in the back.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever rode in a limo. That's okay. It's the first time I ever drove one.
Yeah.
Not to mention, not to bounce around a little bit, but he's probably weighs $125, and he has
At
one
best.
punch knockout power.
Knockout power. Hell yeah.
but
And
he's
knockout power from outside a vehicle into a vehicle
but he's
is
also-
knockout power.
But he's knocking out a guy that is in his weight class. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. We're talking about Steve Urkel. All right. Doesn't he
No.
knock out Steve Urkel in this
he
movie?
knocks out the hacker.
Yeah.
He's
Is it
that's
Steve
not that's
Urkel?
not Julia White.
I was
No,
gonna
I
say,
know it's
don't-
not Jaleel White, but I was
Oh.
trying to remember all the black nerds of the 80s and 90s, and I thought Steve Urkel, and they just went with
You
him.
nailed the one guy.
That's him. That's all the one.
All the other black guys in the 80s and 90s were cool.
Be like, it's just you
Or
and
Carl
Urkel, huh?
Or Carl
Carl
Weathers.
Weathers, Danny Glover.
Yeah, Danny Glover. They're cool. Even them. Even they're
yeah.
cool.
They're
even the
all
old ones are
cops.
cool.
They're
Yeah,
all cops.
that is
Yeah.
true.
They're
The ones
honestly
are cooler.
the
Yeah.
coolest. The
I mean,
coolest.
freaking Danny Glover I found this out that in Lethal Weapon, when he's too old for this shit, is my age.
Wow.
I was gonna text
I'm like,
you that.
wait,
yes.
he's 40?
That's when you know.
Oh god,
Well,
I'm too old
gonna
for
say,
this shit.
If you were in car chases and shit, you would be too old for this shit.
I think if I just had to run like a mile.
I mean,
Dude, you're giving yourself a mile. I'd be like, how long? 100 yards? I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm done. Like, whatever they have, just let them take it. I'm not chasing
That's
that.
my motto. I only run if I'm being chased.
That should be your only motto.
Only the wicked run when no one is chasing.
That's it. Yeah, man. So, sorry. Back up So Carlton's in this. Reginald Vel Johnson.
Yes, Reginald Val Johnson.
Vel Johnson.
Carl
He
Weathers.
plays as Sergeant Al Powell,
Not
but
Carl Weathers.
Sergeant
Carl
Powell.
Winslow.
Carl Winslow.
Yeah,
Carl
I was
Winslow.
thinking of Carl
yes.
Weathers.
Yeah, that's it. So so Argyle again. Just is a fantastic character. Like you said, he just sets up that John Mclane and his wife have been having marital problems.
And you know she
About
works
6
for
months.
like this bigwig company because
Yeah.
they hire a limo driver to take him from the airport.
To pick up someone's husband, dude. Like,
Yeah.
never met the guy. No, just go get it. Oh, yeah, send the limo.
Oh, my
Fine.
husband's landing. Bring him here.
She is an executive.
Yeah, she's like number 2. Who does number 2 work for?
Yeah,
National
I guess.
Plaza.
I guess so. yeah.
And you also learn
Tagaki.
about like their tumultuous family life because the kids are like, is dad coming home? And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, we'll see what mom and Santa can do because he lives in New York and they live in Los
Well,
Angeles.
yeah, because I guess the backstory is that she started working for the Nakatomi company,
Yeah.
and they lived in New York, and then she started doing super well, and
flew her too.
her job took her to L.A., and he's like,
she'll come back.
dude, like I'm a New York cop, like
Well,
this
yeah,
is
he
what I
thought-
do. Like,
yeah, he thought she was gonna like not
you're-
screw it up.
You're
but,
gonna
like,
fail. Like
yeah,
you're not
just
gonna
wasn't
make
work
it.
out.
And
Yeah.
then she was like, "I'm a badass. You better get your ass out of here. You could be a LA cop."
Dude, I honestly, if someone like was, oh yeah, here's an executive position in 1988, it was like, dude, you know how much money that's pulling down? I don't care even if it's LA.
Even now.
Like even now, yeah, like executive money, be like, yeah, I'll
You see
quit.
the size
Sure.
of Nakatomi Plaza?
Yeah, they got
And they
they got
weren't
cash to
done.
blow.
And they weren't done.
Yeah,
No,
they were still building that thing.
there was only what do you say, 11 floors occupied out of the like
Dang. That's
humongous building.
they were on
Because
the
the
Like
rest-
40 or 45, yeah, something like that.
They were on the 30th floor,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he said only like 11 floors of the building were because it
Fully
wasn't done
complete.
yet.
Right.
Yeah. So Argyle's like, hey, dude, I totally get your situation, and here's the deal. I'll drop you off. Leave your stuff with me. I'll go park in the parking lot, which is important to the plot point.
Yeah.
So he goes down to the garage, and he's like, call me. He gives him his card, and says, call me with whatever happens. If you
Yeah.
need to stay, that's great. I'll bring your stuff over to the desk, and you can stay. If you need to go, I find you a hotel or somewhere you can go.
Yeah.
Wonderful character to have. in this.
Immediately has like
So
a best
good.
friend.
Yes.
But immediately parks the car, moves to the back seat, and starts drinking.
Hell
Listening
yeah,
to music.
dude.
And calling his girlfriend
Yeah.
and hanging out with the teddy bear.
It's
Yeah.
his Christmas Eve too. Like,
Well,
I mean,
and that's so yeah. So you know, when I was younger, I was always like, "Why do people call this a Christmas movie?" But they probably say "Merry Christmas" in this movie more than, or reference it more than like Christmas movies do.
Than a lot of the other Christmas movies.
like throughout the movie, the hacker guy is always like, Hans, we're gonna need a miracle for this, and he's like, it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
Christmas is where miracles come from.
Dude, he puts on the freaking guy when he puts him in the elevator. Now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
And the guy's wearing a Santa Claus hat, like our dear Danny DeVito.
Not to mention the handwriting is. Well, I'm assuming that he wrote that with blood.
I guess so.
Impeccable handwriting.
Impeccable handwriting with blood. Like
He was like,
that's a
He got a
backstory in
stencil.
itself.
He got a stencil and was just.
John McClane's just up there, like sitting cross-legged on the floor doing arts and crafts.
and where did that blood come from? Because didn't he break that guy's neck?
Yeah, John
did.
McClane came from himself.
Yeah. He was like cutting himself. He's like, I'm a cutter.
It's worth it. This is gonna be
like,
worth it.
Imagine,
freaking
imagine.
hilarious.
There's a little dancing right over here. Oh, it's Bob Ross.
I had my mind went to a terrible place. So what else he cut?
He gets to this
Did you get that
party,
blood?
and
We're done here.
Keep moving.
and he goes to his wife's office after meeting the head of the corporation. His name's not Nakatomi. It's
Kawasaki.
Oh, I got it.
is it?
I got
No.
you.
Oh, but-
Tagaki.
yeah, something like that.
It was Benihana.
Takahashi or something.
Takahashi Yamaha.
Yeah.
Honda.
And so he takes them to meet, and then you meet the biggest tool in the entire movie.
Dude, for real.
Ellis
For real.
Takagi is the name of it.
Takagi.
We meet
But
Ellis. Yeah.
who's basically this coked up businessman who's trying to get with John McClane's wife.
It was the 80s pizza.
But so he's sitting in her office when John McClane's wife and John McClane walk in,
Yeah.
and he's doing coke off her desk.
I mean,
and
buckets.
he's like, "This." She's like, "This is my husband, John, the cop." And he's like, "You missed some."
Yeah.
The director was like, all right, how do we make this guy look like a total piece of shit?
Yeah.
Do we have any apples on set?
Yes.
No? Okay, well, give him some cocaine.
Because it's the 80s.
Have you ever seen those in like the Everything Wrong With movies? Like every time somebody's eating an apple, they're like, "Oh look, they had the bad guy eat an apple, so we all know he's a douchebag."
Or like
That's
he's
all it
cutting it
takes.
with a knife and just eating pieces off the blade.
She eating that sport.
Yeah, was she eating there? So the one thing I noticed was when John McClane comes in, because somebody said like this movie references like a lot of different, and I need your help with this because it references like the Bible, it references like the Christmas story, so Jesus being born and all this, and the association is it because the guy, and it's kind of a weird interaction. You're like, why did they put that in there? John McClane gets up to the 30th floor, and first of all, he punches his wife's name in it.
He figures out that she's using her maiden.
She's using her maiden name.
Yeah.
So he goes up to the 30th
He's
floor.
already pissed off.
Yeah, he's already like, fucking. He's wearing. Why is he wearing that wife beater? Let's be honest. Let's be honest about John McClane.
It all makes sense.
Out the gate, John. Okay, so, but he gets up there, and this dude comes over, and he's like, "Merry Christmas," and he kisses him, and he's just kind of like, California.
And he says
just,
it again in the airport.
yeah, and he just kind of keeps moving, right? And so somebody pointed out, and I was like, oh, okay. It was like that was like Judas kissing Jesus, the savior of the movie.
Oh.
Because John McClane showed up, he's there to save the day, and so that there was some.
I mean, I wouldn't have put that together, but
I
kudos to
didn't
that
see
guy.
those kind of parallels in my research.
Man, I went through like 3 or 4 different YouTube videos where they're all like, "Did you know it's actually in reference to like the Nativity?" And I was like, "What?" And there's like somebody like they put something where they're like the 3 wise men, and it was like the main Hans Gruber, like the main.
The blonde dude.
And like the first guy he kills because they were really like super like, no, we got to kill this guy like this in order to keep following the plan. Like they were so logical, they were so thorough, and they were like they didn't do stupid bad guy stuff. And I think that's what's refreshing about this movie as an action movie is like,
Oh, if John McClane wasn't
Nobody
there, the only guy that dies is the Japanese guy, and they make off with a bunch of money.
right, yeah,
I was very impressed with all the bad guys in this movie.
yeah.
If John McClane's not there, all the hostages die.
That's right, because he blows up the roof. Yeah, I'm an
Yeah.
idiot.
Oh yeah, he wanted to kill all of them, which I think was like that's the step too far if you're gonna have that heist, am I
Well,
right?
I don't think it's so much that he's wanting to kill all those
It's a
people. It's
distraction.
just he needs to kill all those people for the plan to work.
Oh, yes, because they have enough ambulances show up and try to save people and bring people so that they can escape in the original. We're getting
And it's funny
way far
because
down, but
right at the beginning when the bad guys pull up in the truck.
Yeah, so
and
while this
they
is all
start-
happening, you see this truck pull in.
Well, yeah, and they start unloading. When the door goes up, they all come running out of the truck, There's no ambulance in there.
No, it's like Link's.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Link's backpack.
You can just pull whatever you need out of it, like Grand Theft Auto and your weapons. They just pull them out of your ass.
There was a fourth
Rocket
guy
launcher.
still in the garage, just putting the truck together.
He's
The ambulance
assembling.
had to be assembled.
Yeah.
It was in
IKEA.
boxes. He had to put it together.
Yeah, just Allen wrench.
It's the worst Christmas ever.
To build my toys. Jesus.
You could make the argument that days before they got somebody to drive it in there. You know.
You could, but at the end of the movie, they drive it out of the back of the truck.
Oh. Maybe they just wanted to put it in the truck.
While everyone's inside, they're like, "You bored yet? You want to put the van in the truck?" Okay.
Yeah.
For every scratch,
you can.
Say I can't. Say I won't.
for every scratch we find, you lose $1,000.
Son of a
bitch. Oh damn.
Yeah, so they go through the party and John McClane's like, I want to clean up, and so she takes him to like Ellis's office that has like a private bathroom, which I guess is where he does all the coke usually.
Right.
You know. And he
wanted to
up.
change the scenery. He wanted to see the sunset.
Yeah, that's it.
He's like, "This is my sunset cocaine."
this is my 5 o'clock.
These are my
cocaine.
downers.
These are my uppers.
These are my uppers. These are my downers.
These are my downers. And I'm dead by 9. So John McClane's cleaning up, and she's, obviously trying to like make amends. She's like, "Hey, dude, like the kids love you."
She misses him so much.
Yeah, she's like,
You could tell, and she's like so happy to see him.
Yeah.
And just kind of horny for him.
Oh yeah.
And what does he do?
gets pissed
Starts
off.
a fight.
Well, yeah, and then he tells himself in the mirror, "Real mature, John."
Yeah.
Like fuck.
As soon as she leaves, when they're fighting, he turns and he's just like, "What did I just do?"
He's like, "Why did I wear the wife beater
I've been
today?
there. I've been
Why?"
there. Done
Well,
that.
and so he's in the hotel room and he's doing what the guy on the plane told him to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Fist with
He's
your
in
feet."
he's in the toilet.
That's true. He's like, "Fist with your feet, son of a bitch."
Yeah.
Like he's like, "It works."
It worked.
And then that's when they start shooting.
Yeah.
To get everybody's attention, and he's the only one that's like, "Oh, gunshot, let me like hide," because like the other two people are like making out in another office.
No, they're banging.
And they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, gunshots, we're just gonna keep going."
You know, that's one of like 3 Playboy playmates in this movie. Is the woman that's like
the other one's in the
topless over the desk.
The other one's in the airport.
Yeah, she runs up and jumps on her boyfriend.
And
it's
I
kind
think the
of
other
giving you
one's
that
the
feeling. Yes,
Yeah.
the pinup that he high fives at one point.
I thought he gave it a little squeeze. He was like,
Well, it's like
walk
I saw this video where they were talking about how in the beginning of the movie he kind of is making eyes at other women, like when he's walking off the plane and the flight attendant's walking towards him, and you get this feeling like he's got this. He's kind of up in the air about his whole relationship and his marriage to his wife and where things are at. And then by the end of the movie,
I mean, he's a dude. Let me just
Yeah,
but
but-
it's a beautiful woman that's walking by. Like,
but some guys are like, yeah, I don't care. Like I'm going to see my wife. I haven't seen it forever, so you just keep walking.
God bless him.
So, and then by the end of the movie, when he's like thought about it, and he's like, he says to Carl Winslow, like,
Dow. Yeah.
tell my wife that I'm sorry, and he's like all breaking down about it and everything, and he goes back by the pinup again, and that's when he like high fives it, and it's almost like she's just a buddy of his now. Like she doesn't care. He doesn't care so
We're
much.
just friends.
He's like, what's up, bro? Like keeps going. So I think it's interesting,
You heard what I
like
told
the
Pal.
way people see these movies. Yeah, the way people see these movies.
We're just topless friends now. That's all our
Well, it's funny
relationship
because
is. Yeah.
when they started casting, they wanted Arnold, because originally this movie was a book called Nothing Lasts Forever.
Tickle me Elmo.
Yes, it was Tickle Me Elmo. I have it right here. Let me just make sure. Yeah, Nothing Lasts Forever.
Yeah.
And Clint Eastwood had bought the rights, and he was going to make it. And it's a much darker story. And the protagonist is much more ruthless, and like the John McClane character.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though John McClane kills people, he kind of kills people because they make him like a cop, like a cop would, where it's like, if you point a gun at me, I'm gonna shoot at you. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not thinking like that. Well,
That timing was just
Right away.
impeccable.
right away, like immediately, when I was watching this movie, the first thing that came to mind is I'm like, this is Butch from Pulp Fiction, dude.
Yeah.
He's really the same guy.
Oh,
He is.
okay.
He's the same guy. Like, I know Butch is a little bit more on the edge or whatever, but
Yeah, he's more of like an outsider.
it's the
not
same.
a cop.
Right, he's not. Yeah, they're two different.
Right.
Obviously, they
Yeah.
have two different professions. One's a boxer and one's a cop. But at the end of the day, he's still the same cool, like cigarette smoking. Hey, like smooth talking. Like it's the same guy, dude. It's the same guy.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's
Which
true.
I'm like, all right, cool. Like I mean,
Butch is cool.
Butch is totally cool.
Yeah, and he likes a potbelly.
And he tries to make his relationship work and
Yeah,
stuff.
he does.
Even in
He
Isn't
does.
he wearing a wife beater in that one too?
Yes,
That's a
he
staple.
wears-
It's just kind of his look, isn't it?
No, he wears like a
tight
white-
shirt.
It's a t-shirt.
tight
Oh, it's
shirt,
just a
yeah.
t-shirt.
it's a
Okay, yeah.
t-shirt.
But they wanted to. It was based on that book, which was a sequel of the movie The Detective,
Yeah.
and Frank Sinatra was the main lead in the Detective. And when they started to make this movie, they were actually contractually obligated to offer the role of John McClane to Frank Sinatra, who was
70-year-old.
73.
What? Yeah.
And he turned the role down
Thank
because
you, Frank.
he's 73.
Thank you, Frank.
And but
Jeez, dude.
it was
Love
it
you,
was
buddy.
it was also so it was a sequel of the Detective, which was Nothing Lasts Forever.
He would just fight for New York, like New York.
Yeah, he wouldn't give a damn about LA. Just take me home.
He doesn't fight with his wife about not using his last name. He fights with her about New York. Hey, $40.
Hey, $40.
Tom.
These dames. Wrap up pizza.
Yeah, that will forever be changed.
Oh my god, yeah.
And then it was going to be a sequel of the movie Commando.
What?
Oh.
Yes.
I mean, that's a
And
great
they
movie,
wanted-
though. That's a great movie.
I mean,
love
it's
that
a
movie.
fun ass
Yeah.
movie to
Yeah.
do, but
Yeah, right.
it is horrible, but it is so fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you like Mystery Science Theater 3000, that movie would be fantastic to
Oh,
do.
that's such a good idea.
But
Or Dune.
they wanted Arnold, they wanted Sylvester Stallone, and because Bruce Willis had never done an action movie,
He'd only been a.
he was the
heartthrob on
lead
TV.
in Moonlighting, the TV
Moonlighting,
show, which is
yes.
he was the romantic lead of and basically the studio didn't even want to put him on the poster.
really?
Yeah.
Dang.
And then the movie came out and it was such a smash hit that they reworked the poster and put him on there. And now we have Bruce Willis, who's been in
It's a good movie, dude.
like a million Die Hard movies.
Yeah.
Armageddon. What a terrible movie, but he's wonderful in it.
It's a movie. It's a movie.
It's
I
funny
mean,
because
it's one of those movies where it's like, this is terrible, but I'll watch it
Is this
every
like
time it
the
comes
right.
on.
is this like the transition from like the 80s action hero to like the 90s action hero where you went from like Arnold and Stallone
Yeah.
and Dolph Lundgren to like Tom Cruise and Bruce Willis, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, these super jack dudes.
You know
and
what
now
it-
it's
yeah.
like
A little more
these
trim.
tiny thinkers.
You know what it mirrors? You know what it mirrors? The WWF or WWE.
Oh, going
Where
from
it's
like
like-
Hulk Hogan to
Yeah.
The Rock.
You
And
have to
Stone
be
Cold.
300 pounds of every steroid you could possibly put in your body
Oh, yeah.
to Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. Can you do triple backflip and high five the white kids? All right.
But yeah, so just
man, that's from
super
your favorite
interesting,
Sandler
like how
movie,
they did
bro.
that and how they went with him, and like Hans Gruber, played by Alan Rickman. This is his first.
Sir.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal,
Sir
dude.
Alan Rickman.
He was
knighted by Queen.
only
You know, the band Queen.
he was only like a theater actor.
Yes.
And this was his first
Totally.
break into movies. And I mean, you break in with Die Hard, one of the quintessential
Yeah.
action movies.
Yeah.
And like when we talked about doing it, I was like, yeah, Die Hard, of course. Christmas movie is great. And going back and watching it, I'm like, dude, this movie totally holds up. Like you
movie
can
was hard
watch
to
it now,
It's pretty
no
solid,
problem.
dude. Yes.
And one fun thing I did see was, you know, the Beretta 9mm like 92 or whatever he uses.
Okay.
It's the gun that Mel Gibson uses in Lethal Weapon.
Dude.
Not the style
Dude.
gun, it's the
Dude.
gun.
Dude.
Yeah.
So I have one thing to say, like the one thing, like in preparing and like in watching it,
And
that
I
is
said it?
very clear. No, but it's onto that. I don't know if I should say it now or if
Go
I
ahead.
should wait.
Go ahead.
Don't,
It's all right.
don't hold back.
All right, listen here, okay? Lethal Weapon was made in '87. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon 1, dude.
Yeah.
I loved that movie. This came out in '88. Right, so a year later, right? Let me walk you through some of the parallels that I noticed. Okay, so let's say let's just talk about like the ending, the ending, right? He fights this, and this is like really when it clicked. He fights the big blonde guy, right? Who does Mel Gibson fight at the end of Lethal Weapon 1? Gary Busey, a blonde guy, right? A blonde guy. At the end, it's more of like an MMA style fight, right? In Lethal Weapon and on the rooftop in this movie, it's like an MMA style fight. Riggs, played by Mel Gibson, he's just wearing pants, no shirt. At this point,
White beater and
I don't even know if white beater or not.
It's
If
like
he has it the whole
he's
time.
got like pieces of it on.
It's
okay.
there. It's just so dirty you can't tell.
Yeah. So they're fighting, right? So that's the matchup. He ends up getting choked, right? This guy,
John McClane.
John McClane,
Yeah.
ends up choking him with a chain, but a choke is a choke.
That's right.
Mel Gibson throws up
That's what I told her.
Mel Gibson throws up a triangle choke, chokes Gary Busey, right? Done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, those two guys are out. They're done. And guess what happens at the end of the movie?
They both come back.
They both come back. Gary Busey out of nowhere, a gun. He's got a gun. And then who shoots him? Mel Gibson, but also who shoots? Remember, they both got shot by multiple people in both scenarios.
Yeah.
But the main shot was from Sergeant Murtaugh, was from Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Right? The main shot here
Black
was
guy.
from
Powell.
right. Was Sergeant Powell.
Buddy cop black guy. Let's
So
do it.
what are the chances that same guy comes to life and like that's how he dies in both movies?
I would say that
And it's an exact replica, dude.
I would say that-
not to mention, sorry,
Yep.
during the
No,
MMA
keep going.
fight. During the MMA fight, there's a helicopter overhead in both movies.
that's funny. It's true.
Crazy.
That is weird.
So
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon, but the writer was like, now Christmas.
On top of a building.
Oh, with
let's
Christmas.
do it.
Perfect.
But it's much less believable in Die Hard that Homeboy came back. Like
Is that dude
Yeah.
is suspended?
100%.
you have been hanging by a chain for like an hour.
He's like, I have to tell you, I have an amazingly strong neck. Actually-
and you know where that guy was before he was in this movie?
Where?
He was a Russian ballet dancer. And you can go
Really?
and see him. He's very graceful.
Wow.
He was like a professional ballet
They
dancer.
hired a bunch of Russian dudes to play German dudes.
Yes. Yeah, you know, when they released it in Germany, they were like, oh, yes, the European terrorists.
Oh, the European,
And
the
they
Europeans.
speak like Dutch. They don't speak.
Well, because when they originally recorded, like, none of them are speaking German. It's all
nonsense.
gibberish.
It's nonsense
Yeah.
German. Yes. No, I feel like, I don't think these guys sprechen.
No. Well, in the very beginning, when they come into the building
Okay.
and the crew rolls in,
Yeah.
the hacker that's doing the wires, the
Yeah.
brother,
Right.
that's German.
No. They redubbed it for the VHS release.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that they put German in.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
'Cause
wasn't
he's
even
walking down the
saying-
hallway and he's like recht.
Yeah.
Recht.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he wasn't even saying 9 in the original one. He was like 9. No, he was like, oopsies, oopsies, don't my oops. But I just wonder if they decided to go with Bruce Willis rather than Stallone and Schwarzenegger, just so they
This
had
would be
someone
so
they
much
could.
better because they went with Bruce Willis.
Yeah, but just
Yeah.
so they could understand what the guy's saying.
Because,
the whole
like, if
time.
this guy-
can you imagine, like Schwarzenegger, like whispering or Stallone whispering the way that he does, like,
Do what now?
you gotta.
The thing is,
Do what now?
there's obviously something relatable about Bruce Willis because he looks like a normal dude.
He's
for
an
the most
everyman.
part.
Yes, he
He's
does.
not like a super like crazy.
But I've been that dude
shredded,
in the
Yeah,
mirror
dude.
that's like real mature, like fucking dick. Like that's I've been that guy that looks in the mirror like real mature asshole.
I've had plenty of those moments.
But so
I'm having one
to
right
move
now.
the plot
I'm
along,
single.
Hans Gruber is the mastermind of this, what he disguises as a German terrorist organization, but they really just want to rob this building.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I love and at the end when Mrs. McLane says like, so you guys are just thieves after all this,
And he gets like
you're
so
just
upset.
you're
He
just
gets,
the
like,
common
indignant.
thief, and he like shoots across the room and gets right in her face, and he's like, no, I'm an exceptional thief.
Yeah.
Like, don't you ever call me
it,
just a
Colin.
regular thief
Yes.
again.
Holly.
Because the
Holly, yeah.
whole time Hans is like, "Don't worry." Like they're called the cops. The cops are coming. He's like, "Yeah, that's
Great.
part of the plan.
It's
Don't
like,
worry.
it's all part of the
it's
plan."
early. It's fine, but it's early." And then like he has multiple teams running up and down. They're constantly on radio. They're constantly coordinating. And the reason they did as we are a terrorist cell is because they wanted the FBI to come. If this was just like, I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, if this was just
that's
local
right.
dudes pulling up, they would just be handled by local PD. But because they're like, no, we're terrorist groups and we want other terrorists and other member like factions all across the world to know that we're here and we want them to be released, they would be like, no, we're not calling
Yeah, yeah.
these people.
This movie cracked me up so hard too, with like Al being on the radio with John in the building, and
Yeah.
John's telling him stuff, and Al, a seasoned veteran, a smart guy, a logical guy, is like, "Oh, this is a cop." Like,
Yeah.
just what he's telling me, like
The way
he knows about
talks.
IDs,
Yeah.
what he's telling me about their clothes,
Yeah, that's very-
the detail that oriented
And he
that
calls
he
them
is.
like perpetrators.
very
he doesn't
possible.
call them like
Like,
just these dudes.
He's like, yeah, this, and then the deputy chief shows up and like takes over the scene, and it's
Biggest idiot in the whole movie.
I work with customs, right?
Maybe outside of the one FBI guy that didn't know his partner. Was
Yes,
part
well,
of the
that guy
terrorists.
too, freaking moron. Yeah, but everybody that's in charge is like retarded. And
real.
working with customs, it's been like every time like supervisors come in, and I'm working with people who do the job all day, every day, and it's like, okay, you're super logical, and then their supervisor comes in, and they're like, "Dang." I'm like, wow, this is just like real life. Like, this person is smart, gets what you're talking about, tries to work with you, and then the supervisor comes in and ruins everything because they don't know what the hell they're
don't
doing, but they're
understand
in
it.
charge,
Yes.
so they make the call. And it's like, oh, cool. You don't listen to the people that like you have employed to do the job.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Who are
fantastic.
actually running the show. On
And that dumb is like what Tony was saying. The deputy chief ends up getting like a bunch of guys killed because he
Yeah, he
tries
sends
to
them in.
charge the building, and Al is like, no,
stop.
no,
Like, that's what they want.
yeah.
But so they immediately bust in, and their nerd goes to the computer and starts shutting down all the elevators so they can't get out. Closes all the gates. Locks down the whole place.
He doesn't shut them down. He locks them between floors.
Yeah, so you can't. You can.
So you can take them like from floor 30 to 35, but you can't take it any higher or lower.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is brilliant because
And he,
that
like-
allows his guys to still move around.
Yes.
Without. So this is like really well thought out. Like Hans Gruber has a very specific guy for this job and another very specific guy for this job. And then he has like his muscle. And they're trying to steal bonds that are worth millions of dollars.
$650 million.
$650 million out of the vault that they keep in Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
And there's 7 locks, and 6 of them can be done from the location.
Yeah, you get
so
the
hacker's
code.
like, I got it, and I have to drill through, and
And
I'm
you
fine.
drill through 5.
But the 7th is electromagnetically sealed. So unless you cut the power from downtown, unless you turn off the grid, it won't turn off.
Right.
So Hans is trying to get the FBI to show up because he knows the FBI will shut off the grid. That'll open the like he plans this out. He's like, the local police are going to come, and then the guard at the door is going to be like watching football and tell them that it's fine, and we're not going to shoot anybody.
Yeah.
And then the fire department will show up, and then the first thing John McClane does to throw a wrench in their plan is he pulls the fire alarm.
Right.
And he's like, have the security guard call 911 and tell him it was an accident. Like he thinks of it like, no, it's fine.
give him the guard's name.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell him in a German accent, it was an oopsies. We didn't mean to pull the fire alarm.
Yeah, and then
We
so
just-
John McClane is basically like, crap.
just like the pretty lights.
Yeah.
Now
Yes.
what?
No, the whole time he's like screaming. He's like, "You morons, come back!
Yeah.
Stop it!"
And he keeps rubbing his head with the gun, which like makes me nervous. So, like, we almost didn't have a John McClane.
You ever scratch anything with your gun? Is that kind of
Let me talk about his weapon manipulation.
please?
All right.
Yes.
First thing I noticed right off the bat, the opening scene. Well, not the opening scene. When he gets to that floor that's unoccupied and he moves to like the point of cover and he's looking left and right. I love Bruce Willis, dude.
Yeah.
I love Bruce Willis, but that is one of like the shittiest things I've ever seen in my life. Like he Charlie's Angels it down the hall,
Yes.
which is the most ineffective way to move with a gun, just to have it Charlie's Angels, right? And then the whole time he's switching nonstop, right-handed, left-handed, right-handed, left-handed, right-handed. Does not make
wow,
sense
dude.
Yeah.
at all. It just
didn't
Even
look
as a
at that
person
at
who
all.
doesn't shoot, like you grab a gun, your trigger finger is your dominant hand, goes right to
You
that.
know what movie we have to do with Tony is John Wick.
Oh,
Because
is it
I
John
feel
Wick
like
film?
Keanu
Yeah.
Reeves was like very careful not to do a
no
lot of
John
that
Wick.
stuff.
Well, the training that he had
Yeah.
was
No, yeah,
intense.
that's legit.
I love going back to '88 when we didn't have the internet to like reference things, and we just had to be like, "You just know a guy who knows how to hold a gun, right?" And it's just a movie. It's just like other movie. Like here's what I've learned about people who work in Hollywood: it's all their friends, and it's all people they've ever worked with. So they'd be like, "You know someone who knows how to use a gun?" They'd be like, "Let me call my buddy Jeff," and they'd be like, "Okay, Jeff is now the expert
Yeah.
of gun handling on this movie," and he's like, "I've held like 3, like including an NES, like Super Nintendo."
The Super
Although I
Scope.
thought
It's
it
called
was
the Super
interesting
Scope.
in
Yeah.
this movie how they used like the weapons that they used, and like they gave the German terrorists
MP5s.
the like
AUG.
AUG weapon that
Oh yeah.
is like a long gun that they use in Australia and like standard issue for their military and stuff. But here it's very exotic especially then in '88 to see that weapon. So it really gave them that like. They're from somewhere else. Like they're foreign guys.
Well, they're not from here.
You're not from here.
These aren't from the backyards.
Yeah.
No, they aren't from around. Sorry, John McClane. His gun Italy.
He's just constantly switching like right-handed, left-handed. His fingers like on the other side of the trigger. He's basically holding like a gun in like a neutral position where like it's just weird. It just doesn't really. Which whatever, maybe that's how he shoots or something, but it just doesn't make sense. He likes to do it awkward, right?
Yeah.
So, and he's a lefty, right? Bruce Willis is a lefty, and you see it like playing like the last shot at the end. It's a lefty shot, and it was driving me nuts watching him.
I didn't even notice.
It was driving me nuts. So I was like, right away, I'm like, is he a lefty or a righty, dude? Because like, what's going on here? Like, there's no reason that you would go switch hands. Like, no, like nobody's that good. It's like, oh, I'm just as good as my right hand. Yeah. So. And then it's it's his finger, right? It's his trigger control and where he decides to put his finger. In that same scene, he has his gun like straight up and his fingers on the trigger, right? His fingers on the trigger. There's nobody around at all. His fingers on the trigger. Fast forward to when he's on the rooftop and
there's bad guys everywhere.
And there's the guy that he has at point blank. He has him at point blank. It's like one of the first guys I think that he kills, maybe, or not one of the first guys, but. He has a guy. Oh, sorry. The guy has a submachine gun.
Yeah, it's when the brother. It's when the older brother comes to kill him.
The guy with brown hair.
The guy that's up. The guy that's up there with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that guy has a submachine gun in his hand, and John McClane is next to him, but his finger's outside the trigger. It's like
so he only holds his finger on the trigger when the gun's to his own head.
Exactly. And then what happens? The guy like they start a fight, and it goes like it's like. That was probably the biggest thing. That
I feel like there was like 3 or 4 times where I was like, dude, just shoot each other already.
Well,
like,
the only thing that this movie, the downside that I saw is sometimes these guys get stormtrooper aim. Like, dude, you couldn't hit him, and he ran out the open for like 40 yards.
You know, bullets fly straight, right? They don't like.
I will say the misses may have been accurate, or if that makes sense, because. Like again, because in the 80s, whatever 80s and 90s movies, all hip fire, dude. It's all nobody's
iron sighting
at all. And there was one guy on a rooftop I saw. I swear. And towards the end of the movie, he's like on the platform when like before he shoots the door to kick it in and go.
Oh, it's the guy that probably actually hits him.
Yeah.
Probably, I guess. But it's the guy. I just remember like watching the whole movie, and then at one point I see a guy like actually use his sights, and I'm like, oh,
we're aiming now. Oh, he might kill him. Hey, hold on. This guy might actually do it.
I was like, did Bruce Willis have a big shoulder surgery? Because when he has the white beater on, he's got a big scar.
Oh yeah, he's got a ripped up scar on his shoulder, dude. Yeah,
and it looks like an old rotator cuff.
You wouldn't let us know now. We got the medical side of this. We have the PD, and now we got the medical. We can keep
everything.
We got everything in this.
I'm useless.
But basically, so we can keep talking about stuff like this, just to like quickly get through the plot, is Hans Gruber has thought everything out.
Yes.
And he kills the head because he won't give him the code to the vault.
You know, one thing I thought was really funny about that. So he does the whole like badass scene with Tagaki, where Tamagotchi, whatever his name is.
Tagaki. You were closer.
He's like, where is Tagaki?
Yeah.
And he's like, Holly's telling him like, don't just stay down.
Yes.
Like, don't let him know. And he just knows every detail about this dude's life.
Born in 1929.
Like where he's from, where he moved, what he did, where he graduated. And he's like going into like detail. And finally, Tagaki's like, it's me, shut up. Like, stop. Like, what are you doing? And then they go in and he's telling him, give me the code. And he's 3, boom. Okay, shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
Cool, you're dead. And then he turns to the hacker, the funny ass black guy.
Yes.
And he's like,
Theo,
hey, you can do it, right?
You didn't bring me for my bubbling personality.
And it's just like, oh, so it's like there was a little bit of a doubt there from him where it's like, you can get in there, right? Like, because I just shot that dude in the head.
I thought when Hans was like walking up, and I was like, dude, this is Alan Rickman at his best. Just like the way he menacingly, and he's like, he brought Harry Potter vibes to this. Yeah. Almost 20 years like before, we was like, turn to page 390.
I was so waiting for him to be like, people in here need to pay attention.
Yes.
God, man, he's so awesome.
But when he's walking around and like,
he really is.
When he's walking around, he's like, hey, I'm looking for a Tagaki, and I know based on this crowd, it's not you,
He's one of like 3 dudes.
or you.
It's not the cocaine
It's
guy.
definitely not the white chick with blonde hair.
With her tits out.
I don't want to be racist here. I might be a terrorist, but I'm not a racist.
It's the scene that I talked about a few weeks ago on Big Bang Theory.
Yes, the Japanese guys, can you step forward? And I know it's at least one of you.
Okay, there's 2 of you.
Let's keep going. Yeah.
No, but the scene from Big Bang Theory that I was talking about where Walter Goggin walks in and he's like, I'm looking for Rajesh Kuthrapali. And it's Jewish guy, Howard Wolowitz, and Rajesh Kuthrapali. And he goes, you don't know which one of us is Rajesh Kuthrapali? And he goes, no, I do. I was trying not to be racist. Yeah, that's exactly what Hans was doing, man. He's trying not to be racist.
Not trying to be a racist.
That's what I wanted to talk about when you started saying that was, I mean, every single character that they cast in this movie is sometimes you're good and sometimes you're lucky.
Yeah.
And I think this was the perfect combination of being lucky and good, where they stuck with the people, like they went with Bruce Willis. They felt like Bruce Willis could do it. They went with him, and it was perfect because the way his comedy works is perfect for the lines in this movie. He's still smooth. He's still good looking. You believe that he can pull off the stunts that happen in the movie because he's not like what Tony was saying, this beefed up. Like, could you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger hanging from the freaking
in the elevator shaft and
with the MP5?
Yeah, like that freaking little strap is gonna hold like this 300-pound guy.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I was going next. Is he's not gonna fit? Yeah, he's like,
a lot of these people sound like my cousins.
It's crazy.
I think he's my brother, but they don't speak the same language. What is this?
But
oopsie no.
like the black guy that plays the hacker guy,
Theo.
He's great.
From the moment he enters the movie, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like that opening scene when they come walking in.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's talking
And
like,
he's like
Hey
strutting.
Kareem, shot this over.
dude, and he's like, and then he
Back
gets
to
the
Magic,
Reba
back to
and
Kareem, bam.
and the guy shoots him in the head and he's
Points.
like 2 points. And it's like the delivery is excellent.
Yeah, dude.
And it just takes you right in. It
and
keeps
he like
you there
jumps
the whole
up on
time.
the desk to sit there, and he's like, "Oh, he says slam dunk."
Yeah,
That's what he says.
it's so good. He's so good. And then you got like the henchman, the long haired blonde guy, who plays like he becomes like the quintessential henchman for the rest for
He
other
goes off the
movies.
rails because he kills his brother. So he's like, he's just seeing
Exactly.
red. He doesn't like plan be damned at this point. I want this guy dead.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like I don't care about the money anymore. But
Love it when
anyway,
he slams
Hans has
in.
thought this thing out perfectly, and John Mclane is like the monkey wrench in the plan because you didn't plan for a New York cop with nothing to lose, just like throwing your bombs down elevator shafts. And so anyway, he's planned for like the police to come and use a SWAT vehicle to come up. Like, oh, we have missiles for that. Oh, if they try to use lights, we know to shoot out the lights and all this stuff. And so basically, John Mclane is the one thing that he couldn't predict because he's basically just spitballing.
He's
like,
also a sneaky, slippery snake.
yeah, he's a sneaky boy.
Because this guy, like, whenever there's any opportunity, and he's like, "I'm a sneaky snake, Mr. John McClane." But when the first shots go out, and he's in the bathroom, he grabs his gun, cracks the door, realizes there's something going on. He sees the exit down the hall, and like there's like maybe 2 seconds, he sneaks off and like gets behind them and gets to the exit. Other scene, he's on that floor where the guy comes with the Uzi or whatever it is, the machine gun, to try to kill him, and like he's hiding behind a stack of drywall. And he's just hiding there, and then he comes out, and it's like another split second, and he's 30 feet across the room. This guy,
he's behind him.
In
He has
that
a
when
mouse.
when they're like chasing each other around the stack of drywall, the stack of drywall keeps changing like size and stuff.
The guy is a mouse. Like he's just like, I'm just gonna just sneak out there. Excuse me. And like, but this whole thing, that the part that I was like, holy shit! Like in terms of physicality, I was like, I don't think I ever could have in any of my best shape is when he goes down that elevator shaft or air shaft, whatever it is. And he grabs with his fingernail, like his fingertips.
And he falls.
Yeah, he falls. And
You want to know some fun
grabs that
facts from
vent.
behind the scenes?
Yeah, and
So the stuntman was supposed to hold on to the thing and fall down to the next hole and grab on. And if you see it, it breaks free and he falls far and grabs. And the stuntman did that in real life. And the director was like, that's going. Like that's going in. That's
Did you
sticking.
get that?
Like that's staying. Yeah.
Tony, you think you could grab onto a ledge like that now? Like,
No,
I mean,
bro.
that's not
I've gone to
police
some of
training.
those indoor rock climbing places, and those places will humble you real fast.
Oh yeah, dude.
Those
They're
people
so hard.
are
It's so
insane.
hard.
Those guys that do like the face, like the free climbs on those,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and all
It's
like
crazy.
you see their handholds, and it's like, oh, so like you're like this much, like a millimeter of your fingertip can grab, and you're like, I got it, bro.
I got my fingernails on this, and I got my little pinky toe on the other foot.
I'm like, I've got both arms wrapped around this. I can't hold it.
I'm going.
Yeah,
I'm going.
I'd like to think that because of the nature of the situation that he's in, he kind of has that extra adrenaline boost, superpower,
Super fingers.
Like
That
that
kinda
lets mothers lift cars off kids kind of deal.
Exactly.
It's crazy how that's real. Like
Yeah,
the
dude.
adrenaline gives you that,
Real,
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's nuts.
I heard of a
Yeah.
drug
Sorry.
actually way back, and this was like in 2006 or something, where they were
Cocaine.
like, "There's a way that cocaine, that you can harness that energy at will."
That's a
They
good
were
one.
going to try
It's
to give
called
it to like
bath
super
salts.
soldiers.
Really.
Yeah. Oh, this was 2008 when I just started getting into like conspiracy theories and stuff. And
They're
somebody
fun,
was
huh?
like, "Oh, I love them. Oh, it's just so fun to be
They're
like,
fun.
what if?"
And it's really fun when you find a friend like mine who's like, so I think we talked about it on the show before, but he, like I was saying, Rogan had somebody on his show and he was talking about some other guy that he had on earlier, and the guy doesn't believe in the moon landing, and he's done all this research, and I was like, oh, I've never heard like these takes that
Yeah.
Joe was talking about.
Yeah.
But basically, Joe was playing devil's advocate and just like, well, what about this?
Yeah.
And what about this? And what about this?
Yeah.
And it was like interesting because I'd never heard those like attacks on the moon landing idea. And I was like talking to my buddy, and he goes, well, we landed on the moon, right? I'm like, never once in this entire conversation did I say that I don't think that we landed on the moon. And he's like, we landed on the moon. I'm like, again, I never said that I don't believe it. Why are you getting like butthurt about landing
Yeah,
on the
dude.
moon, dude?
Yeah, dude.
I was saying
Yeah.
it was an interesting interview because Joe was playing devil's advocate and had all these things to like back it up. And he's like, dude, we landed. I'm like, if you say that one more time, we're gonna have a problem here.
That's why I don't share that part, is because whenever I share those, they're like, "But we did, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, I get it, right? Okay,
It's fun.
but maybe we didn't."
It's fun.
I don't know anything. I mean, not to get into it, but I don't think we did.
Fair enough. You can think whatever you want. I'm not
you're
one of
one of
those
the-
people that's like, hey, you're fucking
for sure.
stupid.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know at all. But Anthony Kiedis said, space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. You know what I mean? That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
Great line
Next
from a
time you're
song.
presented with that argument, this is to our viewers at home. Just go, "Oh, you're one of those people who believe in the moon."
Yeah. You know the moon's
Wow.
Would
flat.
you eat the moon if it was made of spare ribs?
Would you eat the moon? It's made of spare.
What's that from?
That's Will Ferrell on Saturday Night Live as Harry Carey.
Oh, yeah.
Come swing. Come swing.
If the moon was made of cheese, would you eat it? And
He's
Jeff
he's on
Goldblum.
with Jeff Goldblum. And
Yeah.
he's asking those questions.
Did you send us the thing with Will Ferrell where he would dress up as Roy, the like backstage guy, and P. Diddy came on? He would do this all the time.
Oh, no.
Where he had like a mustache and he would wear like a sweater. He looked like super like straight laced white dude, and
Yeah.
he would like play this character when they weren't shooting as just like a joke for the cast, and he would do it all the time, and they thought it was hilarious. And so P. Diddy came in, and he was one of those like douchebags that was like, you can't look at me, like, oh. So they said
like
there was
Mike
some
Myers?
celebrities
I'm
where
glad he's in jail.
when they came, yeah, me too. When they came into the building, it was like, oh, stay in your dressing room. It was like, oh, he's here. Like, dude, go fuck yourself. You're just a dude that like sings some crappy songs. Like, shut
No.
up. So P. Diddy was one of these guys, and they dared Will Ferrell to like crash his closed rehearsal. And literally, there's video of him like standing awkwardly as P. Diddy's performing, and he's standing like right next to him, just like looking around like a bird, like slowly moving his head around, and it looks so funny. And they said that like P. Diddy didn't know how to handle it. He looked super uncomfortable. He was getting all pissed off.
Yeah.
But he didn't say anything, but you could tell he was like getting irate. And Will Ferrell's just standing there like, what's going on?
That's
like,
the best thing that he could do.
Oh, it's so good.
And
Yeah, dude.
I forget. I think it was one of the cast members at the time that was telling the story, and she was like having a hard time telling the story because she was like thinking about it, was laughing so hard. Yeah, it was awesome.
You gotta send me that.
If I find it, I definitely will. Yeah, for sure.
So John McClane, he's thwarting John McClane. He's thwarting every plan.
Are you talking politics right now, dude?
John Claney,
John McCain's dead.
John McCain shot
Well, it's
a
not
guy
even that. He's
with buckshot.
He's throwing off the plan. Like
Yeah.
he's expecting this and this to happen, but he doesn't expect John McClane to throw a guy out of the freaking building onto a cop car. Like, hey, asshole.
Yeah,
Pay
somebody's here,
attention.
yeah.
The best part of the movie, in my opinion. That's the best part. And the reason why it's the best part of the movie was because of Sergeant Powell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sergeant
The reaction.
Powell, literally, he says, "Let it snow, let it snow," and he goes, "God damn it, Jesus H Christ!"
slams on the slams on the gas, and then they're like, "Well, now we got to kill that
Oh, we
guy."
just
So
gotta
they
shoot
open
him,
fire
yeah.
on the car.
How and they open up on him with like an M60 machine gun too. It's
Or
not just like
that, or
a
it's
like
just a bunch
little-
of different dudes. Just
What's the one guy that's in the window? He's got the big ass
Yeah.
machine gun, and it's like, like
Yeah.
as soon as you start hearing that, it's time to get the hell out of here.
What kind of gun is that called?
know.
Overkill. That's what it's,
Yeah.
it's called overkill. This is just called
But,
too much.
But
so then.
wait,
Oh, go ahead.
I just thought of this. You know how you were saying that the deputy chief is like the dumbest character in the whole movie, the guy that takes over?
He is.
The only person that I would argue that is dumber is the lady that's on the other end of the CB call.
Oh my god!
When John McClane comes over the radio and he's
What
like,
do you think I'm trying
"Hey,
to do, lady? Order a freaking pizza."
Nakatomi Plaza has been taken over by terrorists. They have 30 hostages."
She thought it was
They're-
a prank, dude. She thought it was a prank.
But
Yeah.
then
It's Christmas. Nobody takes
they're
hostages
like,
on Christmas.
You're right. She's dumb.
The first lady is like, "Hey, you should probably like," and she goes, "Oh, okay, let me talk." And he's like, "This is happening," and she's like, "Sir," and he's like, "What the fuck do you think I'm trying to do? Like, I'm telling you, this is an emergency." She's like,
what do I sound like? I'm ordering a pizza.
yeah, like, and I guess you're right. Like, I could see where it's like, okay, this is a prank because it is a CB radio that they like brought in. Like the terrorists brought in the radios with them when they came in.
because they cut the phone line.
Exactly,
And the only reason
yeah.
he was
The
able to,
frustration of like it's very frustrating
As,
just to
like,
watch
a
that scene because
viewer.
you're like, God damn, you don't know what's going on.
Dude, if I was John McClane, the movie's over right there because
I
I
know
said
what's
an
going on.
aneurysm.
I see the big picture. I'm watching this.
Have
movie.
you seen Hans Gruber?
Die Hard 2 or Die Hard 1.5 should be like her having like one of those one of those trainings again. Where like they bring her in, they're like, so here's where you went wrong.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we could do
She's
better
being
next
audited
time.
by, like, her
yes,
internal
audited.
affairs
Yes, that's
department.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, a lot of people died because you didn't respond to a certain situation. Like, we might have to let you go, Kathy.
we're not
I'm
firing
sorry.
you, and we're not mad, but we are disappointed.
Listen. If you get someone calling in and they know the special security line, they're using this kind of language. Like Al, the street like cop guy, like he understood like this is cop. Like John McClane is a cop just from talking to him for like what 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like she who's supposed to be responding to all sorts of calls all day.
Yeah.
And she was like ahead of it.
And the fact that she says this is an emergency line, and he just told you that the Nakatomi Tower has been taken over by terrorists, and they have 30 hostages.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't that sound like an emergency to you?
Sounds like a misdemeanor. in
That's
my
pretty
opinion.
elaborate for me to make up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to go find a CB radio and to get on this channel and call you freaking out.
Like, what am I? A
This
nerd?
isn't us calling Johnny Rockets.
No, yes.
I mean, was it
No,
Sonic?
it was Steak and
Steak and
Shake.
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 Steak and Shake telling them that we're locked in the bathroom.
Don't judge me. It's a woman's bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. Don't
One
judge
of my
me, please.
favorite stories of all time. We told this on
man.
the show already, but
It's a good one for Christmas. Though,
oh,
if
it's
you
so
want to
funny.
share it
dude.
again.
Just the way that the guy got so pissed and then called Tony's cell phone like later on in the night. It was like way later. And,
you.
and Tony's like, I'm not answering that number. And he's like, it's random. It's like an 80. It's a Tallahassee number. He's like, I'm not answering that. So he puts it away.
Yeah.
And
Or 850.
the guy leaves a message. And Tony goes, you got to hear this. And so he plays it for us. And the guy's like, we don't even have locks on our bathroom doors. Like, blah, blah, blah. And He goes, I'm gonna call the police. And he goes, what's the guy gonna do? I have a 305 number.
Yeah.
Come find me.
Oh,
bud.
so and we call like the one like super flamboyant gay guy that Tony happened to get on the phone when we prank called him.
I'm locked in the bathroom. Can you come open the door, please?
Don't judge me.
What are you talking about?
It's the ladies' bathroom.
It's the ladies' bathroom.
And then he was like, don't worry, I'm on my way. He's so excited to come help you. Oh, it was I'm telling you, I'll never forget. Of all the ones we did, because we prank called so many people, that one and the hamster one that we told,
Yeah, that's
where we totally should have gone and made a hamster out of pickles.
we should have.
Because it would have
My
been a
biggest
great,
regret.
would have been a great day.
John
For
McClane
all
in this
those
movie
listening, yes.
is like a video game character going through a quest because he's just leveling up every time
Easily.
he kills a guy. Like,
But his
now
shirt
I got
is
a machine gun.
deteriorating.
Now I got
Yes.
C4.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, he's super smart because he writes the names of the guys on his arm, and he's like, okay, this guy, and he's like, and I killed that guy. Yeah. So this guy.
He's gone.
So then when he
What else?
radios Hans,
Yeah, he knows how to.
he's like, and the other guy's like,
How does he know
how does
our
he
name?
know so much crap
but
about
Hans
us?
is like, shut up.
Yeah, Hans
Yeah.
is smarter than
So
that.
Hans is so incredibly smart at being able to be like, hold on, he doesn't know what he doesn't know. In fact, to a point that like he realizes,
He's listening to
John
us.
McClane has stolen detonators because they're putting
That's
C4.
the important thing.
They're putting C4 around the
blow the
helipad
roof.
to blow the roof. And he realized, well, I'm just going to go up there and make sure what's going on. Hans gets up there. John McClane is there too. And he has this great time where he puts down his gun. Hans puts down his gun. And he turns around and John McClane is there at gunpoint. And the brilliance of this movie and the brilliance of this character is him realizing, oh, he doesn't know what I look like. And he knows what I sound like, but he doesn't know what it looks like. So Hans Gruber puts on that great like American accent that, I mean, Alan Rickman does. And he's like, oh, please don't shoot me, please don't. And like to a point that like John McClane's like, oh shit, yeah, like, it's a hostage. And he kind of believes him, but he's like, just to be sure.
But it's like a triple
Yeah.
cross because it gets to the point where he gives him the gun. He's like, "You ever held one of these, Clay?" He's like, "I mean, I've been to a shooting range a couple times."
So
Yes.
when do you think
when do you think
he knew?
The one he gave him the gun.
No,
Oh, wait.
when John knew.
When John knew that it was him.
Because he knew before he gave him the gun.
Oh.
Obviously.
I think it's when he said the name and
Bill
John
Clay.
and John looked at the directory
So
that
I
was
think
above his head.
I
and was
think
like,
originally.
Yeah, but it matched up with Clay. There was a Clay there.
yeah, but like
But-
the floor number was weird.
But I
It was
think
like waste management or
originally
something
when he
like
first
that.
meets with him, he's like, okay, so you're in a fancy suit.
Yeah.
You kind of look maybe a little foreign, but how did you get away?
I think
And
it was-
how did you get to the roof?
Yeah. How'd you get away?
And how are you just running around on the roof? And he said, like, stick with me. The roof is crawling with guys. He knows that the roof is crawling with. Like, how are you? So I think from the very moment he sees him and he plays the like part of the hostages, he's got questions. And then like the more questions John asks him, the more he kind of gives it away. And it's that moment where he says, "I'm Clay, Bill Clay." Something in that moment, you can see it on John's face where he's like, no, you're not.
I wonder if though too if he was playing like playing the second side. It was like, okay, I know you're not one of the hostages, but I'm going to play this out and see what you do know in order for me to understand my situation better. So that
Sure.
he kept letting him.
This was what I was looking for.
What are you
I
looking for?
saw it's cut from the theatrical release, but there's a in the extended version, John McClane after he kills the guy starts to notice that they're all wearing the same watch. Like they sync their watches when they come into because he's like, oh, it'll be ready in like an hour and 30 minutes, and then we'll have to cut the power. So they all sync their watches, and John's noticing like they all have the same watch on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Hans is wearing the watch. And in the like extended release, he does something when he reaches for the gun, and John sees that he's wearing the same watch, so he gives him the gun without any bullets in it. And then he's like, oh, no bullets. That's my favorite part. Where he's like,
My only second take about this movie that I was like, hold on, this could have been completely different. And I agree, it's a very smart movie. But at the beginning, when Hans Gruber is like telling Takagi, like, hey, I understand I'm here for this $650 million, is that right? So in bonds, right? And he's like, for you and for your company, that'll be like 10 days of like shit. And then your company will regain all that, right? They could have played it just hostage situation, not kill anybody, spent all the time they needed to, but maybe the issue was getting them to shut down the power to get through the electronic seal.
I still think if you call in with those weirdo demands, they call you. Like he calls in with because he was kicked out of a terrorist cell,
right?
And so he demands that like people in China be released, people in Canada be. And
Yeah,
like,
that's like the best.
No, the Gong Dawn get DAWN, and he does that so that it becomes like an international incident, and they have to call in the FBI.
So
Well, that's like the best
his
part
mole can
is
let him
how
know.
the guy's like, the who? And he goes, I saw it on 60 Minutes.
Yeah, I read it. Yeah,
Like,
at least, yeah.
I read it in the New York Times. Like, I
Yes.
don't know who these fucking people are.
But like, so Hans could have, like, they could have done all of that, and I think they could have done a completely silent robbery. And if they could have just figured out another way, which they have a big nerd down there, he's hacking computers and stuff. They can't
actually
figure out how
not
to
very
like
big.
trip and like he's not that big. He's actually very small. Trip and electronic, like electromagnetic, like was safe, right? They could have done a completely silent robbery and gotten in and out without anybody ever noticing. No police, no guns, no fire.
Although the nerd kept saying, like, that when we break through the sixth lock, that electromagnetic one is going to lock, and I cannot get through that.
That's what I keep wondering. I'm just like, man, there must have been another way that wouldn't deal.
I mean,
with,
they
like,
could have gone
having to deal
downtown and cut the power.
with- Yeah, they had Team 2 go
And
downtown.
he had his
power.
mole in the FBI, so he knew the FBI was coming because that's where he had Agent. What do
That's
they call
true.
him? Agent.
Dickhead.
Does he have a mole in the FBI?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Who?
the two agents that
There's
show up with
Johnson
the
and
same last
Johnson.
name. So the white guy,
No
the
relation.
Johnson, the guy, one of the Fatalis from.
He
the
is
Goonies.
one of
He's
the
one
Right, he
Fatalis,
is,
dude.
but-
The guy
Yes.
that's like being back in Nam.
And the other guy's like, I wasn't born. Or
Yeah, I was in middle school, dickhead.
Yeah, I love that.
That guy's a mole. He's working with Hans because he's the one that's going to shoot John McClane. Like he's like, I'm going to take this asshole out. Because
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that he was working with.
No, he just thinks that John McClane is one of the terrorists.
I'm pretty sure he's working with.
No, I think
I don't
he's
think
in.
so.
I think it was right in line with what we were talking about earlier, where he's in charge and he's an idiot.
Do you
Remember
believe
John
in the moon?
McClane? John McClane on the rooftop was
shooting up in the air,
So
yeah.
that's just why
And
he
all
thought-
the hostages were out there too, when he was shooting in the air. So he thinks like, yo, this guy's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah. Which, correct me if I'm wrong. It's one of is
No,
the,
he is a fucking dickhead.
He is. And do you believe in the moon? Sorry.
I don't know. I was
Who's a
just
dickhead?
joking around.
No. The cop, the supervisor cop who comes in, is he the mess with the bull you get the horns actor from Breakfast Club? Am I crazy on that?
Oh, maybe.
Which one?
The
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
the idiot. Is
The
he the
chief?
same
The
guy?
principal, the vice principal.
Yes, okay, he's the vice principal
Yeah.
from that. And I was like, man, dude, that guy plays
100%.
asshole so well. Like,
He really
just,
does.
Like, don't
And you know who we haven't even
like
touched
him.
on yet is the fucking reporter that
I was
plays
just gonna get to
the
that.
sleazeball
Yes.
so well that he gets punched in the face in the end, and you're
mean-
like, yay!
Pretty accurate. Dude.
yeah.
That's how most reporters. Well, maybe not, but
That kind of reporter.
For
But
sure.
you're like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
investigative, like I'm trying to
Yeah,
shoot
not
my
all.
career.
Not all,
I
but-
do love the scene when he's trying to convince the
His name's
the head
Thornburg.
to give him
reporter.
the van, the camera crew van, and he's like, we don't have any, they're all out. And then the anchor that's getting ready to go in the air, like says something to him, and he's like, shut the hell up, like whatever, and like makes some joke, and the guy's like all butthurt, and then they're like 3, 2, 1, good. He's like, because he's still all butthurt about what the guy said to him. That cracked me up.
But that reporter, he's the guy with no dick from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
he
He's
is
the
the guy with no
yes.
dick.
That's true, Mr. Mayor.
true.
This man has no
Dude, that's my
dick.
favorite.
Man has
Have you
no
seen Ghostbusters lately?
yeah. No,
That is
lately,
my
yeah.
favorite part. When he's like, this man has no dick.
It's true.
It caught me off guard so hard when we rewatched it. I was like, it's one of the out of all the movies we've watched, it's one of the times where I was like cracking up at my house, like
Yeah.
by myself, no one around, and I'm just dying laughing because he's like the way Bill Murray delivers. Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
It really does
Dude,
just show
going
how
back-
stupid those people were that I thought that guy was a fucking mole because he was just so dumb.
That's yes.
Way to go,
He's
idiot.
so stupid.
Shoot the guy
I
who's
thought he was
helping you.
in on it because when
No,
he was like, "I want
makes
that bird
sense.
ready to go in 5
Makes
minutes,"
sense.
I thought he knew like, "Oh, they're gonna have the shit."
When he's like, they're not expecting gunships. Like, no, there's gonna be hostages on the roof. You dumb shit. You're gonna bring them in.
Meanwhile,
going in hot.
Meanwhile, they're in the copter playing like Creedence Clearwater. Some folks are born made no ways of flag.
That was our Warzone win
Dude,
song.
every time we won Warzone, every single time, I would break out
Called
my
Fortunate
phone.
Son, by the way.
Fortunate son, yes. Fortunate son.
That's CCR. And you know CCR? You know where they're from?
No,
Guess.
Germany.
Tallahassee?
Come on, dude.
I don't know.
CCR. Think of like the
Creedence
twang
Clearwater
and how they sing. Like what kind of accents?
Alabama.
Georgia.
No.
Clue us in. I don't know.
Louisiana, dude, right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
But they're from California.
Oh,
They say,
Really?
Yes. They're just from California.
So they're posers.
Yeah, exactly. But they're awesome. I mean, they're awesome.
You know the
like-
band Goldfinger that sings Superman?
Who do what now?
from Tony Hawk.
From
Here
Tony
I
Hawk.
am, doing everything I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were put together by a record company
By
to
what?
make money.
So
They were
they're,
put together by a record company. They're not like a band that came together.
Really?
so they're not
And you know
Austin
what?
Powers
They have
fans?
songs that like talk about it and make fun of it, and they're still together. And during COVID, they would put on concerts on Facebook for people because like they enjoy being. And I'm like, you know what?
Those guys are
I
awesome.
fucking love it.
Good
tell you
job,
right
guys.
now.
Be a record company.
Because what's wrong with like
Yeah.
you getting put together if you make badass music?
If you're making
and
awesome
fun as
music.
hell.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Tony has to say about this. So they blow the roof, but John McClane lets all the hostages know, gets him off the roof, and then at this point his feet are effed because they've been shooting the glass,
Dude,
to get,
yeah.
and he had glass on his feet, and he's like, that's when he's talking to.
Al.
Al, to tell him like, oh, tell my wife I'm sorry because he's like, I'm gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't gonna work out.
There's no way. There's no way I
He's
can.
like, I
out.
can't
Have you
fucking,
seen where I am right now?
I can't fucking run. I have newspaper taped to my feet.
Yeah.
So then he survives the explosion, which, okay, I get that because he does the whole, grabs the fire hose and swings into the, which I don't think that fire hose thing would be heavy enough to pull him like that. I think that once it's detached from the wall, it's probably like 20, 30 pounds. I don't think it's pulling you out a window.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe
It's I
never
think
seen that one.
in buildings that size
Gotta be.
maybe.
Yeah, that's true. It's probably really heavy.
Oh, let's put on the heavy
I
ones.
mean, it was a big one. It was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Solid
it's
amount.
an
But I was thinking
optical
like
illusion.
50
I don't think you see
I was
it.
thinking like 50 pounds, and to drag John McClane's probably 2 bills there. I don't know.
100
I'm with you on that though. I'm with it. Maybe not
Not as
enough.
dramatic, not as quick as it was happening.
Yes,
like he's
not
like
enough.
Cusco going over the freaking waterfall with Pacha. Like
I thought it was
rock to the
gonna-
bottom, bring it up.
I thought it was gonna yank him off. I thought if it's heavy enough to like
Hey, if it
hold
wants
you
to
up
yank
or
me off.
whatever, then
I missed it.
The hammer pulled you off.
Damn it.
You'll hear it in the edit. You'll hear it in the edit. We'll just keep it
Oh.
rolling.
The hammer pulled you
All
off.
right, keep going.
no. All I was saying before that disgusting joke there. No. All I was saying is that I thought it would yank him off like right away, but it didn't. So I don't know if he kind of braced with his feet or whatever. But going back to the helicopter explosion again, the idiot chief. What does he say? Like, dude. People just died up there, right? Like exploded. Like these guys, whether they're FBI, they're feds, or they're local, like there's people dead. And his reaction was like, "Oh, we're gonna have to call some more FBI guys."
Yeah.
Because he was butthurt. Like he was butthurt because they basically told him he was an asshole.
I thought it was really cool the effects side of that, how they did that with miniatures and models. And I saw
really?
it, yeah, and they use slow motion.
Oh wow.
And I
okay.
saw it in like regular speed, and it's just like,
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's not impressive at all.
and then
Yes.
like you see it in the movie, and it's like, wow, that looked awesome.
dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
explosion.
And like when he throws the C4 down the elevator shaft and it blows up that one floor, like he was like, give me the brightest bulbs that you can, and they blew the bulbs. Jeez. And then they added and I'm like,
Wow.
that looked really, I mean, now there's like aspects of it that's
still
like,
looks pretty
okay, it
good,
looks
though.
a little fake, but overall, like it looks awesome.
It's practical effects, man. Like
Yeah.
you couldn't like there was so
We've
many
talked about that so many times on this
practical
show.
effects. Just they work, and honestly, if you do them well, like they're always gonna hold up.
It's
Like,
true.
From doing it with the CGI. At the
I mean, that's why
time, or
Star
with-
Wars, the original, is like, yeah.
Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's okay.
like amazeballs is
Yes.
the practical.
Yes.
It's all the practical. And then especially back then with like a Star Wars movie where it stops you from doing a lot of the goofy shit that you can do these days.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
in like when
Like you're gonna like, are we gonna put this much effort into
Right.
putting something silly?
Exactly.
Or we could just CGI.
like when they added Jabba like going with Han around the Millennium Falcon, and it's like this looks stupid. Like this does not need to be here. Like the story
stupid.
works so well between the 3 movies and Jabba being introduced when he did. Like, why do we need Jabba here? Like, it doesn't make sense. And now it's like it's taking me out of it because he's an obvious like computer generated slug that is here now.
Yeah.
Instead
Versus
of just
being a
being
real
this
person.
like fat piece of crap in
will
this
take me to
thing.
Jabba.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like it takes you out, and I think that's something that people don't look at enough. Is like you don't need to do that. You probably shouldn't do that.
I don't need to do it. You don't
But,
need to do it.
But so he blows the roof.
Oh, the other thing that I want to talk about before we get to the end because we're getting really close.
It's happening.
So in order to go for realism and to make it look as real as possible, they used the blanks that they used were loaded heavy. They put a lot more gunpowder in them, and so it made them extra loud.
I'm also loaded heavy.
Well, yeah, you know, they put extra gunpowder in me. And the scene where the guy comes into the office and John's there and he's screaming at him to get down, put the gun down.
Yeah.
And the guy starts to drop and the second bad guy comes in and he shoots him and then he slides under the table and the guy's walking along the top of the table, which was great for the movie, but makes no sense. Why wouldn't you just stand on the ground and shoot him under the table as he's sliding? But so he's shooting down through the table, and Bruce Willis takes the gun and shoots up through the table.
Yeah.
He lost 80% of the hearing in his left ear
Oh, really?
because it was so loud that even in later movies, you can see he's wearing a hearing aid.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was. I had no idea that.
So that's why his blues music was not that great.
Yeah, I think that was just talent
That's-
or lecture.
That
was
might
a-
have been a talent.
That was
That's
a skill
interesting.
issue.
That was it.
That's interesting because blanks are like super loud too. So
And he was like
think about,
under
like,
the
all those
table,
guys.
and the
Sylvester
gun was
Stallone.
like right here.
yeah.
So it's right next to his head. And I've been to like a trap shooting range, and if you're not wearing headgear and you're shooting all those rounds over and over again, like you really notice.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's something to take seriously for sure.
Your health insurance
And
cover
those-
that at all? Hearing loss
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
It's part
Yeah,
of it.
I have
right?
a little bit of tinnitus, but I've always made it a good point to make
That's
sure
ringing in the ears for
Yeah.
those
Oh,
who don't
I'm
know
not.
what
Yeah.
yeah
tinnitus or tinnitus is.
because
We have
dude you,
cop and a doctor. It's ridiculous.
Now we use a
What are we doing, Tyler?
Hey, who says we don't have one?
He's an excellent thief.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, blanks are serious too.
Tyler's the cowboy.
Those will do it.
You got cop, doctor, Indian, cowboy. Yippee Ki Yay.
Yippee-ki-yay.
That's another thing to look at that's pretty interesting is the way they use the cowboy tie through the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
And because a lot of people don't know who like Roy Rogers is and stuff, and the Yippee Ki Yay, like Roy Rogers had a song like Yippee Ki Yay to you.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, and that's like which is like the 96th most famous movie line ever, according to like some magazine, is Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then it appears in every movie after that. And I love how they changed it for like TV and stuff, where it's like Yippee Ki Yay, melon lover.
Sick, dude.
And apparently, the Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker was an ad lib from Bruce Willis trying to make the crew laugh, thinking like this will never make the movie.
Really?
And here we are, 6 movies, and 30 years later, like, Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker. It's so funny.
See, so this was Die Hard, right? With Bruce Willis just ad-libbing a lot of it. And after this, they were like, oh yeah, Bruce, totally just let loose. You know, we'll do the take from the script, and then you do what you want to do. And that, I think, gave him way too much confidence to then make Hudson Hawk.
Yeah, no,
And-
absolutely.
and that's where we got Hudson Hawk out of that. Have you ever seen Hudson Hawk?
If you don't need to see Hudson Hawk.
No, but you guys did that one.
And
You
yet
did
you
that
guys
one.
did that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
Although I would say it's not like watching it once is totally worth it. It's funny.
You can do it. Yes.
When you go
Yes.
into it expecting it to be like, this is kind of a shitty movie, it's funny to watch.
It is
Well,
fun.
just going back to the end of that, the big shot at the end, the hostage shot that he takes, he taped it to his back, right?
This is where I was getting
Yes.
to. Yeah, so he's
Okay.
You
so
see
and
him?
it's not like on his neck. It's on like
No, it's like in between
How
his
do
shoulder
you
blades.
tape it
Like,
there?
how do you remove it?
How are
quickly
you-
for a shot like that?
How did you even get it there in the first place?
So
That
he's-
was my
I'm gonna need a
question.
hand.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
And no, so the big thing
And he's
there,
covered in blood.
he's soaking wet because the
It's all the-
sprinklers came on and there's like a big puddle in the hole in the floor
Yeah.
that he falls into during the explosion. So he gets up.
Oh, that's the like water feature.
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
like, well, yeah, and
He's,
he's like
like, crawling
limping
through it.
to the wall because he can hear them talking.
He used the remnants of his wife beater to wipe his back.
So he's sitting there and he takes the clip out and he empties the bullets into his hand. He's like, shit, I only have 2 shots. And so he puts them back in the gun and he's like, and then you get the hallelujah when he
Yes.
sees the tape. And he tapes his gun to his back.
Dude,
and-
how do you do that?
And he brings out the MP5 and Hans Gruber's like, drop the gun or I'll kill her. Because at this point he knows that that's his wife. 'Cause he saw the picture in the office. So he's like, oh, what was it you said to me? Like, Yippie Ki Yay, cowboy. And then
They start laughing.
I thought, he starts cracking up. I thought what was going to happen is his wife was going to like pull his arm down the first time I saw it. But he starts laughing. And when he hesitates, he's like, now. And his wife like hits him in the stomach. And he pulls out a gun and just dead centers this dude. Like,
Well, he shoots Hans
take
in
the
like the
wheel.
Hans in the
chest.
He gets
chest,
Hans
and
in
he
the
gets
chest,
the
yeah.
other dude.
That's the more
Dead center
incredible
of the
part to me
skull.
is how he just whips that gun out to the side and just
With his
pop.
offhand,
Like,
because
As
he's
a lefty,
left-handed.
he went across his body. That's a lot
like,
harder.
oof, this guy's a magician.
I just
like-
I don't know what to
I would
So
say.
he got a
love to
warm up shot. He got a warm up shot.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
And then you get
Bang, bang.
the whole, like, if I'm dying, I'm taking you with me thing, where he's like, and he falls through the glass and grabs Holly.
That's a great shot, though.
Yeah.
When he falls, that's
You want
a
to know
great
the
shot.
coolest part about that?
Let's talk about the history
This
because
is,
I've gotten
this is everywhere. If
I've
you go look up
gotten
this
mixed
movie.
reviews about this. That it was 70 feet or that it was
It's 40 feet.
Okay.
It's 40 feet.
There's a couple of videos where like 70
Alan
feet. And I was like,
Rickman
no
himself.
way, I'm dropping 70
Sir
feet.
Alan.
There's a video you can watch that's an interview with him
Rickman.
and this like older woman that I find these videos for almost every movie we do with the stars where it's like I guess she was like a well-known like Entertainment Tonight or like like just entertainment reporter.
Yeah.
And she asks like super softball-y questions. Oh, so this is your first like big action movie.
Oh, you like pie?
Oh my god, I could never do this because then they have to like it's like a multi-shot, so then they have to
Yeah.
like do her
Then
like with
her.
the other camera, and she has to like repeat the question. I'm like, oh my god, I could never do that.
Do you believe in the moon? Sorry.
No,
No.
let alone landing on it. But so when they had him there, they had him on this rope system, and they told him, okay, on 3 we're gonna drop you. So 3, 2, or 1, 2, 3, and we drop you. And they're like 1, 2, and they dropped him. So the fear in his face
That's
was
where you get
real. Because
Yeah.
he's like, whoa, shit.
Yes.
And that was the last thing that they shot with Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
In case he was super pissed off that they dropped him early,
No way.
they wouldn't have to film with him
I
anymore.
would have been.
Was he cool? He was cool.
Yeah, he was cool about it.
I would not have been cool. I'd have been like, we're doing
I mean,
it again.
40 feet,
but
that's
you
a
are going to
distance.
count to 3. I don't care what we do. Let's
And
go again.
I do love back to the douchebag deputy chief.
Back to the douchebag.
He Hans Gruber's falling in her,
I hope that's not a
base
hostage.
jump. Yeah, and he's like, oh god, I hope that's not a hostage. Like, oh my god,
And, yeah,
dude.
and Officer Alex at him like,
Yeah, dude. And I love how when they come out at the end and they're in like Holly and then John and they're hugging and everything, and he's just standing there looking and there's all the commotion, but Al is just there looking right at John. He's like, that's my dude
That's
right
my
there.
guy right there.
And then
about
he
how-
looks up and he knows like,
yeah.
hey, that's the guy that I've
And
been
before
talking
this,
to. Cool.
John's
That's a
talking-
cool scene
And
that they
before
did
this,
there.
John's talking to him while he's taping his feet in newspaper in the
Oh
bathroom.
my god, yeah.
About how he's
Oh
like,
my
he's like,
gosh,
why aren't you
man.
on the street anymore? And he's like, oh, because I shot a kid. And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
damn,
Dude,
I'm sorry,
that
man.
scene
He's
like tears you up.
It was at
It's
night,
horrific.
and he had a toy gun, looked real to me, and I shot him. And he's like, at Academy, they teach you how to be the cop, but they don't teach you how to live with the consequence and all this stuff. And so
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, the big blonde German. He's like
Zombie.
Austrian, but
Yeah, the zombie.
the
The
zombie guy at this point.
Who has
He comes
literally
back with
chewed
that big
himself down
machine
from the
gun
chains.
and
breaks out
goes-
of a body bag. I think he
or
breaks out of a body
whatever.
bag.
I think
breaks
he
out
has.
of.
I think it's a blanket that he has over him, and he like throws the
hide.
blanket off his shoulders.
And-
But it
Yes.
definitely does look like a body
he comes
bag.
up out of the body bag. He just straight up Resident Evils it, and comes out.
That's right.
And he's about to kill John and Holly, and you just hear, and it pans back to a 6-shooter, and
Dude, and
Yeah.
I
Columns
love
go stand
I
up.
love
Always
the sound effects that they use. Like you did it like because that's what you think of. It's like that.
Yeah.
And the way they made it sound is so cool.
When I was
'Cause
reading
the
something
movie
that-
goes so quiet, and then it's just the 6-shooter like.
I was reading something that they
The only
allude,
thing. Well, sorry.
that they allude to the fact. Sorry, I thought he was.
No, it's okay.
Go. You're the
You
guest.
go. So the only thing that they were missing in that scene was the saxophone, the Lethal Weapon saxophone.
Yes, absolutely. That
something-
noir
Oh.
saxophone.
I read something that they're
Only.
alluding to the fact that maybe the reason that John McClane didn't want to leave is because he's SWAT in New York City. Because the SWAT gun, the SWAT sidearm at that time was the Beretta that he uses, and the standard issue gun was still the 6-shooter revolver.
Interesting.
So when he gets shot with the revolver, it's like he's a street cop, and John McClane had the Beretta because he was a SWAT officer.
Interesting.
So that was pretty cool.
Look at Trey
That is
going
cool.
deep,
Look
Yeah,
at
man.
this,
making
man.
me look
Die
bad. Hey,
I like it.
I'll tell you what. We talked about at the beginning. This movie holds up like
Yeah.
crazy.
You know what doesn't hold up? The shitty NES video game they made for Die Hard. This thing sucks. So I was doing this, and shout out to James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd, who does an episode on this.
Yeah.
This game is crap. They drop you into this game, and it's like, oh, I walk 5 feet, and there's bullets everywhere. Like, because it doesn't really follow the movie. You have a feet meter in the game.
No way.
You have to
And
play
if you
this
walk
game,
over
dude.
glass, it drains your feet meter.
Yes.
If you run, it drains your feet meter, and you can find.
If you run,
Yeah.
it drains your feet.
Yeah, so you can find
Bro,
med.
everybody's got a feet meter.
Yeah, so you
I'm
just
working out
you
my
just never
feet
get to
meter.
see yours.
I
in
better
real
put my
life. That's
shoes
it.
back
Yeah.
on.
So everybody's got a gripper gauge. You know?
Goddamn.
So when you
I
find
hope she listens to
when you
this
find
episode.
when you find a med pack, it doesn't give you health.
It gives you feet?
refills your feet meter, and it cuts to like a shitty still comic strip of him taping his.
Oh my
feet
God,
in
that's funny.
newspaper.
Oh, it's amazing, dude. You
Yeah.
have to play this game.
And so I think the whole game is based on time because you have like the 6 locks in the corner, and I think it's just like kill as many dudes as you can, and then like the end game starts, and you have
That's
to do the end
crazy.
game stuff. But it's and like if you
gotta play
shoot
it.
out the glass in one of the, you can just fall to your death. Like he'll just like jump out the window and he spins. It's like oh he's dead. But if you go to the roof and you go to where the fire hose is and it's not that time, he's like I'd have to be insane to tie that around my waist and jump off the building. And it's like bitch, you'll fall out of the building on the 35th floor, but on the roof, you know, that's no go.
That's funny.
But they do make Die Hard Arcade, which is that was a good game, but it's also
Is it one of those like shooter ones?
No, it's like a beat 'em up.
Oh.
But it's
really?
not Die Hard.
But it's
It
not
was
at
like
all.
a Mario 2 situation where they had a game and then they just because Die Hard was so successful, they were like, that's Die Hard now.
Oh, this is the Die Hard game.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
The bad guy is like an evil Japanese man. He's not Hans Gruber.
Really?
It's so
So
weird.
Takage turned on his people.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
turned
much.
on his whole company. He just went for it. Like the one side story that really was like pissed off about was the reporter. And he goes and,
Such a
and
dick.
he's
To
an
his
asshole.
house?
He goes to their house, Holly McLean's house, with
To
his
interview
2
the
kids
children.
to interview the children. But in first of all, she has Pauline, who is in Three Amigos. She's
Yeah.
one of the old ladies in Three Amigos.
Oh, she is.
Yes,
Holy crap.
she's in. I recognized her face right away. I was like, I know this chick, and so she's in Three Amigos. But he's like, listen, and she's like, no, dude, like I don't know you. You're not
Like,
talking to these
yeah,
kids.
like Miss McLean said, nobody comes in.
Yeah, he foot in the door and goes, either we talk to the kids
Or I call the
I
INS.
call the INS. And she's like, okay.
Well, and that's how Hans figures out that that's his mother.
Right, because then she's
that they're
on the
husband and
news.
wife.
Yeah, dude, he's screwing up for
Yeah.
everybody.
But the best part of that is at the end when he goes to get a quote from John McClane,
Yeah.
and she just punches him, and because the whole movie
Is
he's
it
asking,
her that punches him?
Yeah, it's her that
Okay.
punches him. Because the whole movie he's like, "Did you get that? tell me you got that. At the
Yeah.
very end, he turns around, he's like,
got the-
did you get that?
Got the bloody nose.
And Argyle's still down in the garage.
Argyle's
man,
man, bro.
chilling out, and he sees shit going down, and immediately he's like, "I gotta take
He
action."
thwarts their escape plan by
First he's trying to get out.
Right. He's
And
like, "I'm trying
everywhere
to
he goes
leave."
with the car, and the gates are down. He's
Yeah.
like, "Well, I'm stuck down here now."
and he sees the guy leaving in the ambulance. He rams the ambulance, and like Tony said, he's got that star from Punch Out saved up. 'Cause
Yeah.
that dude, he just
Ready
boop,
to
boop,
go.
boop, bam.
I'm glad there wasn't too many of those. And like when she punches the guy at the end, I'm like, if this is a knockout, like
No.
this is getting too silly. But it's good.
It was just
Yeah.
him like, oh, I just got punched in
yeah,
the
like-
face.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's like, "You just broke my nose."
Shit hurt, dude.
Because it's easy to break someone's nose.
Well,
Yeah,
the best
sure.
is Argyle's like, remember my name when you're writing that tip.
Yeah. What's it like? 2 pounds of pressure to break a nose? Like, isn't it like just with
I
that
don't know the
uppercut?
pounds, but yeah, it doesn't take much.
I think it's
Doesn't
10
take-
pounds is what you're talking
I
about.
love when,
the nose bone up.
Right up there, yeah.
The deputy chief is trying to like, you're gonna
Debrief.
to be debrief me. You're gonna have to answer to the damage to this building. Shut the fuck up. And they just walk off and get in the
just
car. And
leaves,
Argyle
yes.
is walking around the back of the car, and he's like, "If this is what they do for Christmas, I can't wait to see what they do for New Year's."
Year's.
Well, and then
It's
earlier
so
in the
funny.
movie when he's like, you just blew up I got guys down here covered in glass. Josh is like, who gives a shit about glass?
yeah, for real.
Dude, man, that guy, we got to do Breakfast Club one day because
Yeah, but for as good
so good.
for as
about
good
that,
as this
yeah.
movie is, that game is trash. And the
But so
front-
many games then
the front
where
of the movie, the
Yeah,
front
dude.
of the game cover of Nakatomi is Nakatomi Plaza, but the way they have the explosion, it like splits it down the middle with like a solid black line. It's not.
does it look like a penis?
No,
What?
it looks
Or a
like
butt?
something that happened in 2001.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm gonna show you the
Alright.
cover of the game.
We'll find it.
I pulled it up.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So great movie, great Christmas movie. That's the part that's the biggest debate because even he has come on. John McClane, Bruce Willis has come up and been like, "It's not a
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
movie." You show at the camera, and be like, "What's
Wow,
up?"
you're right. Holy crap.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
it's
dude,
brutal.
that's rough.
I mean, they couldn't have known because this game came out in like 1990.
Right,
Hey, the Simpsons
right.
though.
But even Bruce Willis has been like, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. He's famously quoted as it. So where do you
Did you see?
stand?
Did you see when he said it though?
No, wait.
I don't know where. It's some award show or something. He's like,
Yeah, yeah.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It's a Bruce Willis movie.
Right. And
Like,
you're-
hey, eat my ass.
Guess what else is a Christmas movie?
What?
Lethal Weapon.
Guess what else is a
Really?
Christmas movie?
Really?
I haven't
Lethal
watched Lethal
Weapon is
Weapon in a
during
long
Christmas.
time. That's
Guess-
true.
Lethal Weapon 1. I'm telling you,
Guess
dude.
what else is a Christmas
I
movie?
believe
Blonde
you.
guy, the how they come into life at the end.
It's
the MMA
all
fight.
Lethal Weapon.
And Lethal Weapon was the year
A
before.
year later.
That's why I love Die Hard, but
It's
it probably
Lethal Weapon.
stole. It's basically Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon, like it's and oh yeah, sorry, it's a cop too, right? Like Bruce Willis is a cop. I love Die Hard, but
And it's a white guy and a black guy.
I
buddies.
gotta check
yeah,
that out
I'm
now,
telling
dude.
you, I'm telling you.
We're
my
gonna
whole-
do
Dude,
Lethal Weapon, and
please-
Tony will be here
Please
for
let
that.
me be here for
Oh,
Lethal
yeah.
Weapon.
No,
That's-
no, please.
Yeah,
you
that's-
will be here. We
that
will
is
plan it.
My
You
movie.
will sit
That is
right
my
where you
movie.
are. You just stay
Obviously,
here
it
until we
sounds
come
like
back.
it.
Sorry.
So I looked up this.
Do you really want to jump? Do you want to?
I'm happy you
do it.
guys went into that because I looked this up because I wanted to bring it up. But Iron Man 3 is also a Christmas movie. Just saying. So
You
it
don't need to
says,
see
"Is
Iron
Die
Man
Hard
3.
a Christmas movie?" And then there's two schools of thought. So I'll do this one because it's shorter first. No, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and I
Wrong.
stand by that. It's simply too brutal. There's a lot of action, fight scenes, and gore, which Christmas movies don't have.
Yes, they do.
While it takes place on Christmas, the timing of the movie doesn't have a real impact on the plot.
Liars.
So some that go as far as saying that it took place during summer.
What?
It would be the exact same movie.
No,
And then Die Hard had a July premiere date is the only. But
that has nothing to do
then
with
the
it.
other, then they do the Devil's Advocate, which is yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and you can't convince me otherwise. It says the story literally begins on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Opening scene shows Bruce Willis arriving at LAX with Christmas gifts in hand for
Yes.
his children.
Yes.
John's wife is named Holly, so
Yes.
bang.
Ooh.
There's a lot of Christmas music in Die Hard, including
Yes.
Winter Wonderland, Let It Snow, Christmas in Holly's, and Ode to Joy.
Yes.
Doesn't it end with like Jingle Bells?
Some compared
does.
Die Hard to It's a Wonderful Life, even going as far as to call it a secret remake, drawing parallels between the protagonists George Bailey and John Mclane and the antagonist Hans Gruber and Mr. Potter. As like,
it's kind of interesting how it makes him look at his life like,
yep,
Yeah.
yo, I got here and missed my wife so much, and I just bitched at her, and
Santa
now
Claus
we're all
makes
gonna
an
die.
appearance in the movie as the cutout. Santa Claus as the cutout that he steals the Christmas hat of to put it on their guy.
That's true.
Yeah. Hey, and it says, as a warning to the main antagonist Gruber, and everyone has their own way of getting into their own Christmas spirit, so let John have his.
Last thing I will say though is that Hans Gruber's his theme music is "Ode to Joy" in minors.
That's funny.
And if you go back and listen to it, rather than
The music guy.
Yeah.
I'm a music guy. I like the
guy.
music.
He is the
Yeah.
music
Listen,
guy.
He's the research guy. He's the combat guy. I'm the doctor guy, and you're the music guy.
And the video game
I like
guy.
it. I like it.
video
Yeah,
game
your
guy.
video game as well. Tyler Walker's out of this, man.
Thank
I
you
think
guys
it
so
was a
much.
great one.
Thank you to Tony for joining us. So good to have you back.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Merry Christmas.
We love you guys, and I can't wait to come back. We're probably going to take a little time off,
Little
maybe
break.
a 2-week time period, like we did last year.
That's fantastic, by the way.
Thank you for all those who need to check it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay,
check,
great.
watch the video. Look at Matt toward the end. Trauma products.
Sorry, go ahead.
We appreciate you guys so much, and it's been a wonderful year. Just can't thank you enough for listening, for being a part of it, for commenting, for
Suggest some stuff.
yeah. Give us your
totally.
movies. Like I said, shows. Give us shows so we can plan them because they take time. I put a lot of effort into these things. If we're gonna do a series, I want to watch pretty much the whole run.
We might have to go season by season if we're gonna do it. Or
Yeah, we could do like
the
season
first 3 seasons
at a time.
Because
Yeah.
to watch that many is
Yeah.
rough.
I mean, like
Yeah.
a controversial episode or something. One that
Luckily,
was
when we did
rough.
like Legends of the Hidden Temple, I mean that's a game show. It's
That's
pretty
the whole
easy.
show.
If you watch,
I love
Yeah.
that. I love
Oh, we
that.
should do another
that's
one.
one of our
Tony.
early episodes,
Tony, we're doing
and
Guts or
there's a
American Gladiators.
super funny joke towards the end of that one.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, that Trey kind of talks over,
Hi, Kevin.
but it is a good one. But
Yeah, I don't know what to talk about. Oh, so good. Anyways,
check us out on Etsy at Nostalgialand Shop
yes, that's the Nostalgialand Shop. Yep.
and Nostalgialand Shop.
Podcast.com.
.podcast.com.
Yep.
And check us out on nostalgialand.podcast on Instagram and all your social medias.
Perfect.
Just interact with us. Let's build a community around this so we can give you what you want.
Yes.
Again, thank you to Tony. We're super glad that you're here. Super fun having you. And look forward to the next time. Hopefully you'll be back more regularly.
Yes.
If not all the time.
I
That's a
will.
lot to ask, but
It won't take a lot to set up anymore because now you're there.
yeah,
you're
you
there.
got your own mic, you got your
there.
own stuff.
Dude, I'm not
We just
moving.
got to get you your own headphones. We're good to go.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
not
set.
moving. This is where I will be.
This is where you belong. We're gonna have to reconfigure the studs. We got to get the wrestling back in someone's
Ooh, yeah, we got to
background.
figure out how to do that.
Yeah, if you
sometime
want to
too
take
now.
this chair, because it's not the most flattering angle for me. So
Don't sell yourself short, dude.
But
No,
on
he's
you,
not selling himself short. He's doing what we all do and selling himself fat.
I'm just saying he's the sex appeal.
Hey,
fair. Strike, Peter Pan.
I'll take it. I'm a guest. You put me where you want me.
You're good right here.
Strike
I've
true.
been comfortable. Yeah, but until next time, that is,
I'm Matt.
I'm Trey.
Tony.
and I'm Tyler Calbunga.
So sexy.
It's the Grip Ropes.
Oh shit!
Let's jam to this for a second.
Oh, the boots with the fur. This girl's wearing 2 pairs of shoes and 2 pairs of pants.
I was gonna say I have to add
Baggy sweatpants,
That's a good
Reeboks with
stuff,
the
right?
strap.
Interesting.